Ray Romano. Like my
yeah.
We just had
Ray Romano. I like that.
Ray. We just had Ray on. Ray is a good buddy of mine. We did the we did stand up together at the Mirage for the last
Ray
5
is
years.
a great stand up.
Very smooth, funny stand up. Hosted SNL, was it twice?
Twice.
Yeah. Had some great sketches.
Did
in
a
there.
classic sketch in there. We won't give it away, with Tim Meadows. I don't know the name of it. They're sportscasters.
Yep, Sports Center.
Crazy funny, and we break all that down.
Oh,
and we go through his
we break
travails.
that down to like powder. We break it down so in the tiniest bits. It's like sand.
Yeah, we break it down like, this is how I went to the club. And then we break that in half. This is how I got dressed. We break that in half.
Fourths.
These are the shoes that I bought the night. So we keep digressing. Eventually we got him back to he's just born. And his mother bringing it home for the hospital.
He's done Ice Age. He's done he just directed and co-wrote a movie that was very good. No bullshit. Dane and I both saw it. We both, without knowing it, saw it and not comparing notes. And on the podcast, I have to say, I thought it was a very interesting movie. It is a bit of a roller coaster. It's not just funny, but it's kind of a tearjerker in places.
That was fun because I knew that we both love the film. So we kind of go over his career in SNL because I didn't want to come out with it. But at the end, I think he was excited or happy because we legitimately love the movie.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of stuff for parents. It's not like a dark drama, but it's dramatic and it's funny at the same time. And the name of it is
Somewhere in Queens.
Somewhere in Queens. I was going to say Night at the Queens.
We turned into Siskel and Ebert. Movies to me.
Am I Siskel or am I Ebert?
You're the guy that's...
Ray Romano is also,
yeah,
especially when you look at his resume, especially humble and real. He didn't really get a break in show business till he's 36. He worked at a bank till he's 29. So his story is very interesting. And God, he's done a lot after Everybody Loves
Met his
Raymond.
wife at the bank.
Met his wife at the bank. And, let's put it, eventually he made a deposit on her.
Okay.
Sorry.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Dennis Miller will sometimes appear on the podcast.
So Ray, here he is, Ray Romano. You know him, you love him, you know his voice, and he was very, very interesting.
Have a nice listen, and remember, 10 and 2.
Pull over and finish. Don't go to work or don't go into the store. Pull over and finish the whole goddamn podcast.
Yeah, and the commercials are really funny.
We don't like pauses. We're not the pause guys.
There's no 30-second going forward, not with this podcast. Do that with the other guys.
We don't play that shit.
We should do a podcast called The Other Guys, kind of like the Will Ferrell movie.
We'll just remake that movie.
I think the camera went off 20 minutes ago.
They're out of film.
Film? Like, what are we, 1920?
He's like, is there a spider, motherfucker? Heather,
wow.
Smash it and kill it to death.
There's no pre-interview?
No way to prep.
No way to prep. It's just being in the moment, real.
Can I bite a piece of bread while we do this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is that disrespectful?
No.
Not at all, especially because you've announced it. Now people listening all over the world, by the way, will be like, that's cool. He told us what was happening. He wasn't having some kind of jaw dysfunction.
No, I came right from my eye doctor. I haven't had breakfast yet.
It's all right. I usually
eat all you want.
I talked to Dana for the first 10 minutes anyway.
Oh, okay.
So I discovered Spade, and Dennis Miller discovered, was it Chris Rock or who did he? Oh, he also Schneider. Did anyone discover you in a linchpenny kind of way back in the day? Some club owner, some big time comic. Hey, kid, you're gonna make it. You may
what do you
not
mean,
have
What
one.
do you mean discover? Like, how did you discover those guys?
Well, recommended them.
Yeah, that's a strong word.
Oh.
Dennis, not discover. That's the wrong word. But Dennis Miller, he saw Thabadoo Thandler and told Lorne Michaels about him.
Right.
I believe, right? It's that kind of thing.
Well,
it's
that's
more like
that's
networking.
That's a big thing.
I'll answer for you because Ray's eating. Ray was performing at probably the Cellar, and he got...
Yeah, but I'll tell you one thing. Before I got to the Cellar, I was at the Improv. I was just a kind of a still a late night / one, maybe get on the regular show comic at the Improv. And my buddy John, John Manfilati, David.
I do,
the
yeah.
guy, yeah. He was a regular at the Cellar. And on one Friday night, somebody canceled. They didn't have a guy. Blah blah blah. They had and the owner said, "Who can we get down here?" And he said, "There's a new dude at the Improv that's pretty good." And he called the Improv, and he called me. He said, "Can you get down to the Cellar in 15 minutes?" And I said, "Yeah." And I raced down there. I got there, and that then the Cellar became my club. That was, but he's the one who got me in there. I don't know if you count that. Do you count that as anything?
Yeah,
I'm gonna count it. I'm gonna count. I know there are people who disagree with me, but so just for inside baseball, so the Improv, which Bud Friedman had, we have 55th Improv, 45th Street,
44th,
right?
44th and 9th, 44th and 9th,
and the Cellar was in the
out
Village,
McDougal Street, yeah.
So it's like a 10-minute cab ride to
Wow,
Nirvana.
at least, maybe more.
20-minute cab ride to Comedy Nirvana. That could be your book if
Dana,
you ever write a book.
Dana, I have a technical question for Ray, because I only met people at the Improv when I was staying out there, and they said this guy Gary Grant could get you some road gigs if you fly out there. So I do 2 weeks. I take a subway to Times Square, walk to the Improv, sit there and meet some comic like you or someone, wasn't you, but someone that was established would drive me to like BF Packy's in Jersey, and I would do 20 minutes and I'd get, $60. So in 2 weeks I could clear $500, which I did, and it was great. But the Improv stage, is it elevated at all in New York? It doesn't. It seems like it's in the corner.
Little bit.
It was, yeah. I mean, now it's an Italian restaurant, the Improv. But what do you mean? Is it elevated? Yeah, it was
because it looked like the one in LA was like you walk upstairs and you're like, you walk up 3 stairs, you're way up.
I was scared of that Improv. I got humiliated there once because I was doing the Mickey Rooney show. I was like 25 and I was going to do sets at the Improv, and I'm doing all my dancing around and singing and doing little funny moves and funny little voices. And I thought I was doing really well. And then old guy, probably 40, came up to me and go, "I like you. You get laughs, kid, but they don't like you." And he pointed to like 15 comics hanging out on the other side of the club.
What?
They don't like you. They don't get you.
Wait, the New York Improv?
Yeah,
that was the New York?
New York Improv. Yep, 1981.
That was before me. But I do remember when I was coming up in there, I remember you coming in, Dana, and this is when you were on SNL. And you did a spot, and you were the big guest star. And I remember I think John Lovitz was in the audience at the Improv, was at the Improv also.
Mm-hmm.
And so you on stage said, "How do you guys like Lovitz? What do you think of John Lovitz?" You were asking the audience to get a reaction.
Balderdash.
Fine. Now you have to bring me up to try to get a laugh.
They like me better.
I remember, I was a young dude then thinking,
Ray,
shit.
who were the good guys when you were starting? Who was like on the slate there?
Jerry? No.
At the Improv? No, Jerry was never there.
Okay.
Our paths never crossed.
Wow.
At the Improv was like Alan Havey.
Yep.
And Ron Darien.
Mm-hmm.
I remember.
Yeah.
Chappelle was just starting, Chris Rock was just kind of starting then. And then at the Cellar, I was more when I ran into like Jon Stewart and Louis C.K. But the Cellar's the club that I still go to now.
Cellar's very
Didn't
big.
you shoot what was the name of your it was Netflix special?
Yeah.
You started the set at the Cellar and then you walked to another club during the special.
Well,
Another Cellar.
That's the annex of the Cellar. Yeah, it's around the corner.
Yeah.
It was called right here around the corner.
Right here,
It was called The
great.
Jaunt. And it was just a quick jaunt across.
Were you
And
were you quick to get kind of what you would call your voice and like the way you do stand up now, or did you work with props and puppets and stuff and then get into your thing, or was it?
I had a couple props.
You did?
Actually.
God, when we dig down, Dana had
Everybody.
props. I had props.
You had a prop, right? what a puppet?
I had a little duffel bag of it was at the end of my act. It was at the end of my act, and I would do impressions. I would do the kid you always wanted to sit next to during a physics exam, and it was nerdy hat, nerdy glasses.
Interesting.
And I would turn around and do the old reveal.
Closer alert.
And did he talk?
Nope, he didn't talk.
All
It's just
visual?
a visual. Okay.
All visual.
It was
I like
just visual. These are all visuals. So it was just a set for, I think there were 4 things. It was the kid you wanted to sit next to during a physics exam.
Boom.
It's a funny setup.
That same kid's mother. I did his mother.
Whoa.
What'd she look like?
And it was just wig with cat glasses.
Same.
You know,
Okay. So one after the other.
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
and then I did with the wig and the glasses. I don't know if you guys remember. The Mets were. This was '86, so the Mets were in the World Series and the playoffs. And there was a woman who sat behind home plate who tried to distract the pitcher by doing this, rolling her hands around.
Yeah.
And she was prominent if you watch the game.
Sure, on camera.
Like this. So with the wig on and the glasses, I did that woman also.
Oh God, what a tricky
Are
laugh
these getting
that is.
equal laughs? Are these just all killing?
They're doing very well.
Yeah.
And then the closer not only was props, but it involved music. I said now of course the counter to the nerdy guy was the cool guy who would come into class, and it was just it was sunglasses and half a cigarette. And when I put my back to the audience,
A lot of back to the audience so far. Go ahead.
When I put and this would crush. When I put my back to the audience, they would play the theme to Eye of the Tiger, and it would be dun. And then on dunt, I would turn around, and then on each dunt, I would move my head. So I had glasses and a cigarette. Dun 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 dun.
That's actually inspired. Go ahead.
The second one, yeah. Dun 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 dun. And then when the dunce ended, I would do with my lips. I had the half a cigarette. I would swallow the cigarette like that.
Wow.
True swallow or fake swallow?
No. I would just flip it with my lips into my mouth, and it crushed.
You're the kind of guy I would hate to follow.
Oh my God. He walks off and goes, "Follow that motherfucker."
Wait a minute. I had one more. One more prop and one more impression, and it would be a nuclear explosion. And I would take the rubber band that, I don't know if you know this, in broccoli in the supermarket, the broccoli rubber bands, they're fat.
Yeah.
Know it well.
I would get one of those.
Very well.
And I would put it on my head, and you could feel it creeping up. So as it was creeping up my head, the pressure of it, I would do the whistle of the nuclear. And when I would time it, and it would snap up my hair into a mushroom cloud.
Oh,
it would be like a little bit like a mushroom cloud. And very seldom did that not super kill.
Well, damn. I mean, I know
Dude,
this sounds kind of crazy,
Search.
but are those bits still around for hire? I mean, I got a couple nickels in my pocket.
God damn.
Visual.
There was one day on when I got the TV show.
What you got a TV show? What one was that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got Everybody's Raymond, and Letterman was our producer. So I would do Letterman at least twice a year. Every year the show was on. So when I was running out of material and stuff, one of those spots about 5 or 6 years in, I recalled that all those impressions sitting next to Dave.
Oh, okay.
I just showed Dave, this is from the old days, and blah blah blah, whatever.
And they crushed again.
I'm not joking. That would have been good on Star Search because it's quick. It's fucking score.
Yeah.
And you get your last. You get 4 stars. You move on.
I got 1.5 stars on Star Search.
You did Star Search?
I did Star Search. I lost to Geechee guy.
Geechee guy, Joker Nade.
Yeah. Did you do it? Did any of you guys do it?
I didn't do it, but did you use those bits on Star Search? Because I can't
No,
imagine you
no,
losing.
not at all.
Oh,
No,
okay.
not at all. I did, 90 seconds of stand up, and it didn't work. And you get a 2. It was 1 to 4 stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get a 2 just for showing up, And I got 3, 2, 2, 2, and the last person gave me a 1. So it averaged out to 1.3.
Did you set a record?
That's the most dismal score I've ever heard of on Stars.
No, I mean that's cruel. I ask people this: how did you deal with stuff that didn't work well in your career, like that thing? Like, were you injured for a week mentally, or you just go? They don't know what they're talking about.
No, I would. Yeah, it was a blow. It was a blow, but the story actually has a happy ending because my wife was pregnant with my first kid, my daughter, and she was due about 4 weeks from that. So I fly out to LA to do Star Search, and if you win, you come back, you go the next week. But they film it like a couple of days later. So I would have had to stay if I won. So I lost. And I told my manager, we were going to stay for a couple of days. I go, let's just go home. And when I went home, my wife's water broke, and she delivered the baby the next day. So I was lucky to be. Yeah.
Did you kind of intuitively rate the baby at all with stars? When you saw your kid. Sorry.
Well, what was funny? What was funny was she was born in the city.
I like it.
She was born. I was living in Queens, and she was born in the city. And so I was going back and forth. And the second night, I went to the cellar just to say hello to the guys. And I went down in the basement. And Mike Sweeney? Do you guys remember Mike Sweeney?
Comic.
Anyway,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mike Sweeney was there, and he saw me, and he goes, "Hey, congratulations, man!" And I said, "No, didn't you hear I lost?" I thought, he goes, "The baby, you asshole."
Show business.
Ray, I auditioned for Star Search at the mall in Arizona, and they go, big audition. I thought Ed McMahon would be there. He was not. But they just had like a cattle call. So I waited in line like a chump. I wore a white sweatshirt that had a bat on it, like a Batman. Not even a logo that said, just Dana. It was just the outline of a bat. And I thought that signified comedy somehow. I don't even know why. Like Batman, like I'm cool. I don't know. So I go up and I do my bit. They're just running a camera and the guy's reading a magazine. And everyone just goes up and does like 2 minutes. And I thought literally when I even got to my second joke, it would be like a movie. He'd look up from the magazine. And then on my third joke, he'd start to stand up. And then on the fourth joke, he'd like hug me and say, "We got him." And just like shut the place down and say, "You're going to Hollywood." Literally, no one looked up. I did my act. No one called me. I go, and even for like 2 years, I'm like, it takes a while because they got to get the tapes and they got to review them. And so I never got on. God damn, I wanted that one bad.
Both of you guys had the Young Comedian special on HBO, which I don't know if it still exists, but that was kind of a big deal. And I coincidentally hosted.
Yeah.
Hosted Ray's?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I just, my blink about you then was just the confidence. And I've gotten to know you a little more over time, but you came across so confident. And right as I was about to go out to introduce you, you said, reintroduce me as Regis. So I don't even do an impression of you, but so I did Regis Philbin introducing you.
Did I say that?
Yeah, you just said, do Regis. I want to be brought out to Regis. And you crushed.
Do you remember who was on that one?
Janine Garofalo.
Yeah.
Help me out.
Andy Kindler.
Andy Kindler, who's hysterical comic.
Nick DiPaolo.
Yes, another great guy.
Bill Bellamy.
Mm-hmm. Bill Bellamy.
Oh,
wow.
and Judd Apatow.
Judd Apatow. Yeah.
Really? Judd was on that one? I didn't know Judd was on any of them.
Judd was on that. Yeah.
And did that help you? That's kind of a boost back then. There wasn't much going on, and HBO was a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think after that, I got my own half-hour special. They did those half-hour specials.
Sure.
So I got my own special. It was all good, but you know, the thing then was to look to try to get a development, not to try to get a development deal, but that's what was happening. And nobody was offering me anything. I had done all of those things, you know, the HBO, the Young Comedians, the
You
half
start to
hour.
get nervous because you go, I'm out of like tricks here. They've all seen me.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was like about 11 years in, and I thought, well, no one's offering. And then it wasn't until, you know, I got news radio. I got, you know, hired on news radio and then fired on day 2. And yeah, so it was right around that then where I was like wondering, hey, I love doing stand up. If it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. But then Letterman, I got my first Letterman, and Letterman made it happen. You know, it was Letterman or nobody. Yeah.
Were you fired or were you?
Yeah, I was
when I
fired.
looked it up, it said you left there to go do your own sitcom, like the writers from
What?
there. Yeah,
Yeah,
No.
that's what it says on Wikipedia. So we're gonna have
What?
to challenge this
that
one.
looks
Ray.
good though for you.
I've never seen that ever.
Isn't that great?
No, I've never. No, I was stone cold. 6:00 in the morning. My manager called me at the hotel and said they're going in another direction. You know?
What was that
I love
direction?
that phrase.
Who played you?
Who played you?
Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan
Yes.
came in. Yeah.
So, in a parallel universe, you are hosting the world's biggest podcast right now.
Yeah,
Potentially.
we both made out all right, I guess, you know.
You know, Ray, Dana, back then, I would say going on the improv, I was just trying to kill. But with Ray, the more important thing was, which I couldn't really understand, they're just looking for a personality back then to write a sitcom about. Tim Allen had Tool Time. So like, this is his act. He's like a tough guy. And they could see a show around that. I was just concerned about doing good and getting laughs. And then you have to look at the big picture. Like Ray, they see his whole persona up there and say, we could see him as this and do a whole show around that. And I think that's what happened, right, Ray?
Well, I mean, like I said, nobody was interested except for Letterman. I mean, I don't know what he saw. I was just like, I guess, the every guy, you know. But I had a really good first Letterman spot. I mean, as hard as I am on myself, it was one of the better spots I've had ever on TV.
It's so good. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, and Rob Burnett called me on the following Saturday. It was a weekend, and he called me, and he said, "Listen, they've liked it. We're interested. Don't sign with anybody else." And you know, I told him, "There's nobody else." You know,
Played easy to get.
Yeah.
How old were you at that point?
I was like 36 maybe. Yeah. And they sent me to LA. You know, I had 3 kids then. I had 3 little kids. I had the twins and the 3-year-old. And they sent me to LA, and I interviewed I met with about 10 potential showrunners. And the first guy I wanted turned it down. The first guy was a writer named Michael Borkow, who was writing on Friends at the time, and Friends was the hot, sexy show. Sure. So I got all you know, seduced by that. And he was cool. He was, you know, he was single though. He didn't have a family or anything. And we offered it to him, and he passed on it. And then Phil Rosenthal was my second choice. And, you know, if that doesn't happen, I don't know, you know, who knows?
Yeah. Did you ever have a moment, because it's sort of a theme of the show, of maybe trying for Saturday Night Live? Because everything in hindsight, like when you're 2 hosting things, which we'll get to, I mean, you were great, like a great sketch player. You know, did you have any kind of designs about that? Because it's either the sitcom path in those days or pure stand-up or SNL. Right?
I kind of knew I wasn't a really pure sketch guy, you know. I didn't have voices and characters, and I didn't know. But did I dream of being on SNL? Yes, I did. You know, I was 17, 18 when it came out, and we stayed home and watched it every night, every week. But I never thought I was going to be a sketch player in an audition. I never asked my manager to get me an audition for SNL because I kind of knew I didn't have that muscle in there, you know. But I wanted to be on it.
It's very hit. I mean, it's a cool road if you blow up on the classic show. Everybody Loves Raymond, and then they call. And then you're going to go host. So your first thing is just hosting.
You skip
it
all.
That's quite a privilege, you know.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was probably. I think it was year 2, maybe, of Everybody's Raymond. Might. It was 99.
Mm-hmm.
So 3. It was year 3 actually.
Were you a hit out of the gate?
On the Raymond? No. We were on Fridays for the first 21 of the first 26 episodes. We were on Fridays, and we were in 100th place. And then the only thing that was keeping him from canceling us was the reviews were pretty good. So, it was Les Moonves at the time. So he kind of hung on to us. And then he gave us a 5-week trial at the end of year 1. He put us on after Cosby. And Cosby was, their hit. Mm-hmm. And he said that, we knew that was our trial, that if we didn't deliver then, we were gone. And we actually went up a tick from Cosby. And then we stayed on.
Whoa.
We stayed on.
Wow. Was Cosby at some point, did I read this right, that at a given point he would get 50 million people watching his sitcom?
Maybe that first one.
Yeah.
The first Cosby.
One. Yeah.
This was the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know about 50. That seems like a lot, but
I got canceled at 25 million with one of the boys with Mickey Rooney. Going back to that one more time. They go, we're stuck at 25 million. We're out of here.
Really?
Yeah. That was.
If you get $1 million, you're a hit, right? Yeah.
If your parents watch,
Just Shoot Me got canceled
a season.
with 700 million. Bigger than the Super Bowl every week.
Half the
No, when you look back, the ratings, even on Rules of Engagement, a few people remember. Thank you. That we got the same thing. It's just typical. The ratings at that point made us get on the borderline of canceled. Today would be huge, but it goes down when then people go, I got picked up. We got a 0.09. I'm like, that's great.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the ratings are. 0.09 doesn't sound like a lot of something.
Yeah. I don't either. I used to watch every week.
Anything.
Anything out of 100, out of 1, out of what? I don't know.
I would look them up every week, man, and I would check the numbers every week.
Oh, yeah.
And now who knows? I can't tell what's good and what's not good.
Did you call that hotline and it would give you the ratings?
Yeah. I would call something. I remember I would call something. Yeah.
It would make your day or it would crush you. It'd be like, oh.
Yeah. And we got, for our finale, the equation was this. We got, if you took Seinfeld's finale and subtracted Friends' finale, that was the numbers for our finale. Yeah.
Like it literally exactly perfect.
Buddy.
Yeah.
But
it was good.
I think it was good. Big.
But Seinfeld got like 75. Friends got like close to 50 or whatever. We got close to 30, Yeah.
Huge.
Damn.
Huge
That's
numbers.
just gigantic. That's bigger than the Oscars.
I saw a sketch you did, Ray, about Sports Center. I mean, we don't have to get in all the sketches, but there was one when you were
with Tim Meadows.
Yeah, that was that's the one. That's the one.
Is that the one, really? Because when you look them up, they're on YouTube and you jump around. But that one,
that's the one that has a little bit the barest nugget of a little bit of a cult following because of the Sweet Sassy Molasses.
Yeah, I wonder if they say it on TV and Sports Center now because it's so fucking funny.
That was very inspired. The sports guys, they're at the desk, and I'm starting to watch it, and then I see the turn, and I go, "Oh, damn, that's really
I didn't
funny.
see it coming." Yeah,
and then you landed it so beautifully, Ray. Just like
I have to thank. Mike Royce was one of the writers on Raymond, and they all flew, him, Phil, and one other writer, Tom, flew with me. And Mike kind of threw that together like a couple nights before. And we all then worked on it, but he came up with that, and he came up with the Sweet Sassy Molasses, and it worked. And the guy, it was a Tim Meadows was playing Stuart Scott. I don't know if you
Real guy, yeah.
yeah. Who
Booyah.
unfortunately booyah. And sadly, he passed away. But he had cancer, but I saw him probably a year before he passed away. The first time I ever saw him, and I didn't know whether he was going to be into it or not. But he couldn't have been more flattered by it. He was really cool about it. Yeah. But that's like every now and then I'll be at a golf chat tournament and someone from the side will yell out "Sweet Sassy Molasses."
So just for people who may want to look it up, it's sort of two they start sportscasters. They start to use all these colorful phrases to report the games, and Ray's character takes it in this.
But he's known for the character that Tim Meadows is playing is the real guy who was known for having that catchphrase "Booyah!"
Yeah,
whenever he would narrate a clip or something.
Yeah, and he has cold side of the pillow, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
The real guy's Booyah, and then your guy is Sassy Molasses or whatever.
I was bringing him. I was the new guy, and I tried to match him with Sweet Sassy Molasses.
Sweet Sassy Molasses.
Yours had some racial stuff in it that he wasn't happy with.
Yeah, it's funny when I look back at it. I'm like,
there's no chance.
I don't know if we would have wrote that now. And then the second sketch. What happened was the night before we flew in for SNL. I think it was the Golden Globe Awards. It was one of those awards, and Roberto Benigni won, and he jumped up on the chair, and he went crazy, and I was looking at him, and I was thinking, I could look like him if they could make me look like Benigni, and on the plane there we threw together the sketch that was the second one up that night. Was the Roberto Benigni comes into the restaurant and goes nuts, Yeah.
Was there any?
That was in the same show.
Same show. It was.
That's good. Out of the gate, boom, boom.
Sports Center first, and then Benigni was next. Yeah.
That is the thing about SNL, dime store observation, is that stuff is thought of, and then it's fully mounted 24 hours later. And on live TV, there's the immediacy of it. There's nothing.
They're very good
at
it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I mean,
it's a challenge. You tell them I need to be Roberto Benigni. They're like, "Yep," and then
got it.
You walk in the next day and they got you all dialed in. You're like, "Where'd you find this outfit?" Well, we matched it with he wore at the Oscars. We matched it with this. We got the wig from here, and you're like, "Shit, man, these guys know what they're doing."
So you're jumping around like that. Did you get hurt at all? Your hosting times on sketches? Did you get hurt doing that?
No.
I mean. Anytime you're doing physical and it's live and your brain is thinking of so many things, it can fall down and stuff.
No, I didn't get physically
I'm
hurt.
happy to hear that.
Yeah.
mentally.
You look so beat up.
That was the question I want. That's my number one question for today. Did you get hurt?
Did you guys take any blows in the whole time?
Well, I don't know if you can see it. I got a bump here. I had a grade 3 shoulder separation doing a pre-tape pratfall as Dan Quayle, the vice president, going over the ottoman like the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah.
And I just crushed it. And then I went 2 more times not knowing. And then I'm walking around like a pirate with my shoulder way up. And Mary Tyler Moore's husband was an MD. And he goes, "Hey, what's wrong?" He felt it and said, "I think you got a shoulder separation." So I went, they checked it out. But it was just barely on the edge of a surgery. But I did a show the next night and it was very painful. Switching clothes really fast with a separated shoulder.
Did you do that bit? Did you do the bit?
Well, that was a pre-tape, so it showed in the pre-tape. Yeah,
pre-tape.
Yeah.
Right.
Did you get hurt, David?
I got hurt twice. One was Schiller Vision. If you weren't in the sketches, he could pluck you for a day's shoot.
Films.
Yeah. And me and Victoria Jackson, we were older people, and and bad luck, they drop an atomic bomb, lands on my head. But they did it from a ladder, and I have a bad neck. And it's a jammed neck. And so him dropping this thing, no matter how heavy it is, it wasn't that heavy, but it keeps racking me. And they keep doing take after take. And I almost can't stand up anymore. I'm like, I feel like I have a concussion. I'm like, I can't do this anymore. But I can't say anything because I just want to be on the show.
Yeah.
And then Farley picked me up backwards. We fell through a table and motivational speaker. And then I sort of got rocked by that.
But Farley picked me up is tough.
Yeah.
Where does that go?
And by the way, it's not super thought out in quotes. So He's like, I'll pick you up and we'll kind of spin around and fall through a table. I'm like, sure. And whatever happened, you just cross your fingers. But yeah, you weren't hurt during Ice Age, were you, doing that voiceover?
Yeah, that was.
you were the mammoth. That was a big one. Are they still doing them, or is it over? Because don't you want more?
5. We did 5 of them.
5?
Yeah, 5.
Nobody gets 5.
Never. Well, you've done. I mean, you guys have both done animation, right?
Transylvania did 4, and I'm like, do one more, motherfucker.
Secret Life of Pets.
When you did it, did either of you have other actors in the room with you? Because I never did for 5 movies.
No, nobody.
David?
You didn't have, what's crack-a-lackin'? You didn't have Chris Rock in there?
No.
No, I never did. We talked to Andy Samberg, who's in Hotel Transylvania, and I told him I thought Miley Cyrus was first going to be Selena, or Selena's part, which we didn't even agree on that. So who knows if it's a lie. And then he said, I never actually got to do it with Selena. And they play boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife.
Right.
And I'm like, all 4 never? He's like, no. Yeah. We don't even do read-throughs anymore. We used to do one read-through at the beginning, and then
I just get pieces, right? I didn't really know what I was doing or what the movie was. I didn't even know the plot. Just start yelling.
People would be saddened to find that out.
I'm just a mad dog. I don't know, and that was it. And I see it at the premiere. I go, what?
I know. I mean, listen, it's great to do it. Especially you got kids and all. It's fun, but it's really creatively not that much fun to do them. And you can't move away from the microphone too much. You're trying to animate.
Yeah, you're trying to act.
I'm trying to be a mammoth sliding down an ice glacier, boom, and they go, Ray, you got to keep your head still. You can't move.
Well, there's about 5 people behind a wall of glass. You're in a booth by yourself or a little studio.
Right.
And you just look up to, if you can see them kind of laughing, you can't hear them if they don't press a button. And you're kind of just in a vacuum thinking, is this funny?
I would assume you could improvise a little, right? Because I couldn't. Yeah. They really didn't.
Oh, really?
They didn't really encourage improvising.
Not too much. They'd let you do it, but you knew later on they had they knew what the story was. You couldn't go, oh, now I'm going to do 3 minutes. I kept trying to sneak in George Bush Sr. Not going to do it. And they go, that's not even the show. But I go, but it's funny. But anyway, that's a whole other story.
Yeah, they go, Ray, you're sounding like more of a coyote than a mammoth. And you're like, no, that was my fault. I went into something else. And when I did Emperor's New Groove, we did a 1.5 year stop, redid the script. When I was going in, like Dana said, I was just getting pages. It turned into just you walk in and they're like, this is a scene, we're on a log, and they give you as much as you can. You go, okay, and you do it. Yeah. And the magic of how good they are, I have to say, Hotel Transylvania, I would laugh. They were so cute and funny, and what they do with the animation and Emperor's New Groove, they make it so much better than it even seems when you're doing it.
Yeah.
You go, I don't really get what's going on. It's a little jumbled in my head of like, where were we and what are we? And then you see it and you go, oh, they know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be it every time. They'd say, okay, Ray, you're running away from this guy and he's blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, all right. I go, well, Ray, you're farther away than that. So, we need.
You're like, am I scared or am I happy? They're like, it doesn't matter. Just
but
run.
Isn't it great when your animated character gets an incredible laugh, like lands a perfect pratfall, and you're like, yeah, thanks. You're taking high fives in the theater.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happened was like, I would get credit for an emotional part. There was an emotion, especially in Ice Age 1, I think there was a part where it was a little bit of a tearjerker. And it was the music and the way they animated my face. I wasn't even saying anything. And I would get credit as an actor for getting this emotion from these people. I'm like, all right, yeah.
I'll take it.
I remember when it played in another country, like the first time it played in Mexico. So they use a different actor. A different actor does the Spanish version. Mm-hmm. So it's not me, it's not my face, it's animation, it's not my voice. And I remember my agent congratulating me on how well it's doing in Mexico. I'm like, all right, I don't know if I get that, but okay, I have nothing to do with it.
But they're like copying you. There's a German David Spade that does my stuff.
Oh, really? So, Schwarztiten, hey, buddies? Or what? I'm sorry.
Hey, buddy!
In German? Schlausweiden?
Gets all my nuances.
That's
he goes,
fake
there's
German.
no
Don't be
nuance in his
offended.
performance. All same performance.
Und verschweiden.
Ein, zwei, drei.
Sorry, fake German. Are we going to get letters?
No,
I don't know what's a
I know. I took
Yeah.
German in college because my girlfriend. Yeah, because the girl I was dating at the time spoke German. I thought, oh, she'll help me, and then we broke up, and I was stuck in a German class. Yeah.
How do you say yes? I have perfection. Yes, I have protection in German.
No.
Falls no baby on uns.
That's not how it works.
I remember 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wait, and what does that mean?
That's 1 to 10.
1, 6, 2, 6. Yeah.
What?
7, 6.
That's counting 1 to 10 in German.
Yeah,
that's
Dana.
it? Oh, I thought it was some sort of pickup line.
No, and then Ich liebe dich is I love you.
Oh,
and
I love Dick.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's a little on the edge.
Guten Tag is a good day.
What about Hausaufgaben is homework? Hast du Bruder? Have you brothers? Nein, but Abracadabra is white Schwester.
Abracadabra is like
Abracadabra.
Uns abracadabra. Hitler used to be a magician in the 1920s. He was a painter.
Uns abracadabra.
Uns abracadabra. You don't know when the rabbit comes. Sorry, Ray. Could we just for a second, just because you may have some impressions of Lorne Michaels. Just going to, well, then we're going to move on to, because I think a big part of your legacy is this gigantic career you've had after your half-hour sitcom. But do you have any, like, were you just intimidated, or how did you just process being in the 17th floor with all the writers? You go into Lorne's office and he's talking to you. People have talked to that moment. I don't know if you have anything.
Well, I didn't know how it worked. You know,
they point you where to go.
I was, very, of course, nervous, and the first day you go in the office, right? And again, this is 20, I haven't been on in 23 years, but all the writers come in and sit all over the office, all over the floor, right?
Yeah, it's just packed with people.
And they all pitch what they're thinking of.
You sit in the only good chair.
Right.
Next to Lorne.
And I didn't know till a couple of guys told me later, like, sometimes they don't have anything, so they just make up a pitch, right?
Fake pitches. Yeah.
You're a caveman afraid of caves.
But you hear everything. You hear all these, 30, 40 pitches of different scenes. And it's intimidating because you're like, one of them is, you're a Southern farmer, and you're and I'm like, I can't do a Southern farmer. I don't know.
You play a carrot stick. Okay.
Yeah.
I throw a bluff in, Ray. I always go, oh, Michael Keaton, can you do Russian accent?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah. And I go, okay, for no reason.
Well, one of the pitches was, you're my grandfather, and you're this, and my knee-jerk reaction was, this is how stupid I was. I was like, wow, he thinks I look old enough to be his grandfather. I'm not really. This is freaking sketch comedy. They're going to make you look like however. Everybody plays everybody.
That's funny.
Yeah. But Lorne, afterwards, we discussed some of the stuff we heard, I guess. He was, he was, they treat the host really well, right?
Yes.
Because he defers to you. I mean, that's what it felt like. When we whittled down some of the sketches, he was really deferring to what I thought would work, and then of course he would put in his thing, and you are part of the process there, I guess as much as you want to be, right?
Yeah, it's something because you take his advice because he knows the show, but he also lets the host go, if you're not comfortable or if you don't.
And
like
he would do it like this. If everyone's talking, silence. Raymond? It's just that.
Yeah.
What are you sort of circling the wagons on what you might want to do?
Like he'd go, raise my grandpa. What did you think of that one? And you're like, I don't know. And he goes, is it because you have to wear gray hair in it?
Yeah.
No, I just didn't like the whole feel.
No, I
do
was
you want to
pretty
do Mr.
impressed.
Short Shorts? You don't have to do Mr. Short
Mr.
Shorts.
Short Shorts.
I think it's a good visual piece. It doesn't matter, but if you don't want to do Mr. Short Shorts, you don't have to. And there's a song as well. And you'll dance around in little short shorts.
Yeah. Well, don't forget, we brought in like 3 sketches, and 2 of them got on. You know,
That's a miracle because they don't like when you
man.
bring your Goomba writers in there. They go, oh, here we go.
That's smart. That's
They
smart.
get mad. All the writers go, hey, guess what? Next week, Ray's bringing writers. And everyone goes, boo.
But they were all, you know, it was Higgins, right? It was Steve Higgins.
Steve Higgins,
Yeah.
producer, great guy.
Yeah.
And he was I guess he was the head writer then. And
Yeah. I think so.
Mhm.
and we got in there and we worked on these sketches that we brought, and he helped polish it up, you know, and I mean, I can imagine, you know, these guys, this is what they're living, is to write sketches for us, and I didn't even think of that, and here we are coming in with
Yeah,
sketches.
you took food out of their mouth,
Yeah.
took it off their plate.
And then on the second time I did it, we came in again, and they didn't crush as much. Those sketches they came up a little short, the ones we brought in. Yeah.
By the way,
Mm.
Ray, I don't think I remember when hosts would bring writers. I think Jamie Foxx, maybe Martin Lawrence, when they would bring writers,
Yeah.
it was very hard to make the transition because they weren't quite exactly right. You know, like the
Yeah.
sketches were funny in a way, but you know how it is, Dana, like for what the stamp of everyone knows and read through sort of how everything works. Maybe there's too many sets in them. Or there's
Mhm.
something weird about them.
Oh,
where
yeah.
the point is they don't always get all the way to the end, even though
Yeah.
I was kidding. Everyone's well-meaning. If it's funny, it's funny. Put it on. But I think you getting 2 on is, you say 2 the
That's
first
pretty
time?
good.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it was, and
Mhm.
it was the first one and the second one. It was
Oh, they kill. Yeah.
Sports
That's
Center and Benini were back to back.
Those
But I will-
sound great.
But
Yeah.
listen, we weren't trying to step on anybody's toes. I
Oh,
was
no, you're
just
fine.
insecure.
Yeah.
I was just saying, guys, come with me. We had Phil Rosenthal and 2 guys, you know.
yeah, the mafia. You're the mob.
No.
So Ray, because you don't wear your stardom on your sleeve, like I'm just interested in, like if you go drop into a club, maybe you're not doing much right now, but when you're getting ready for your special, and the MC's like, okay, fasten your comedy seatbelts because the next gentleman, the other,
There he is.
Ray, you know, and you got a little
Ray,
piece of
Ray.
paper, you're trying out jokes. Have you had that experience of the expectation of Ray Romano?
Yeah, I first, whenever I'm in the city, I go on. I go to the cellar. Whenever I'm in New York, I go on. And you know, I was just in Atlanta. I was working in Atlanta, so I dropped in on the Punchline, the Atlanta Punchline. I don't know if you guys did that. I did it like 30 years ago. I when I was just doing the road, I did a spot at a week at the Punchline.
We have a special guest.
But yeah, they pile it on. I've been
Pile it on.
not a fan of that since forever. You know, even before I was the guy they were saying. You know, before they would goose it up like crazy. You know, and I'm like, just lower. You know, let's come in with lower expectations and
I've done stand up with Ray. He always crushes. It's not even a joke. It always works. I'm, obviously angered by it, but he does a great job. Yeah, he does a great job. I did 5 years in Vegas with him off and on.
But Dana filled in for you one week.
That's right, Dana.
David, I opened for Ray in.
No, we co-headlined.
We co-headlined, but the show starts at 10. And and then you do your set, and then whoever goes
you go
up,
on around 10:20,
and then you wait, and then you do a little shtick afterwards. You know, I usually get up at 6. You know, so it was a long day. But
same for
great
David.
crowds.
David wasn't a fan of that either.
I stuck it out, and then because we were like, I think for a while, the trick in Vegas is they have a Boys to Men or someone does a full show before us. You want to take that?
No, I don't
they
know
do a
what that
full show.
It's Lorne Michaels. He has a live,
and then they let the audience out. Then it's cheaper just to go. We have the room. People are in Vegas. It's 10 o'clock. Ray and Spade. They're just a stand up. Just have a stool and a glass of water. So they just said, let's see who can come in. So we do a big show. It was really fun. But I always thought, can they flip-flop us? I think the shows before us, I think it was Shimlim after us. They're just very family-oriented, and ours are usually more adult.
Well, you know what's funny is the room we play, the Mirage, is really a great room.
Great.
And we've been doing those shows at 10 o'clock for whatever, like you said, 5 years. I've been doing it longer than that. I was with Kevin James before you came. Yeah. And those shows are just killer shows. And then there was wasn't there one weekend where we had an 8 o'clock show?
8
and
or
it
9,
was even better. It was even better.
It's such a great, fresh crowd. Because by the time we get off, it's almost midnight, and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And in Vegas, they've been going hard in Vegas. So they get tired, but listen, there was no complaint. But what we would do at the end was we would come out and do a Q&A. And I know
it was fun. I like that. I always like that stuff.
Right. And then we needed to close the show. So we would close with just a joke, right?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So I remember when David started working there, I had to think we came up with a joke for you to say.
Yes,
right?
Of course. I didn't have one. I go, we do a joke. And you go, well, here's one. You gave me a good joke to just say, you do one, then I'll do one.
Yeah, and you did it. And they're kind of dirty jokes, but whatever. And I remember Dave, and every time, we do it. We do the gig every 3 or 4 months or whatever, 2 months. And you come back and you'd kind of half forget the joke, but the joke was bomb-proof.
Bulletproof for sure.
Okay, one of you has to say it, because if I was listening to this podcast, I want to go, well, what was the joke?
Well,
it's
ahead,
a little
David,
R-rated. I remember.
Because every time I get it wrong, and I would look at Ray baffled, because the most infuriating thing was, he goes, all right, let's just end with a joke. You got one? I go, yeah, I heard one from my roulette dealer. And I would say one, and then he would say one.
Okay.
And his, luckily, was so good, because he gives me one that works every time, and then I would just look at him and he'd stare at me and go, "You motherfucker," because I'm just mangling it, and no matter how you tell it, it would get a laugh, and I couldn't believe it because I'd be a little buzzed and I'd go blah blah, and I could see while I'm finding it while I tell it.
What
I go,
is it?
It's this. Okay,
it's
this.
By the way, it's not that good. We've overhyped it. It's not that good.
Yeah, it's by the way, it's 5 sentences.
It's past midnight on the Strip in Vegas. Here comes David with his joke.
Oh yeah, Ray, I got one.
All right, here he is.
Okay, it's a couple's.
See, what's good is now you can't remember it now, which is exactly how you would do it then.
Exactly.
It's a perfect reenactment of you on stage. Go!
And then I would back out. Yeah, I back out.
Okay,
but I go,
3, 2, 1. What's your joke?
It's a couple, but they are 90 years old. So it's their 60th anniversary. I'm just making up numbers. 60th anniversary birthday. And so the guy, as a present, the woman says, I'm going to go wait in bed. I'm going to go get my present ready in the bathroom, and I'll be right out. So he lays in bed. She goes in there and strips totally naked except for a cape. And look at Ray's scared. He's already grinding his teeth going, okay, you're already a little off.
The crowd is restless. Land it.
Yeah. She comes out, leans at the foot of the bed and says, "Super pussy." And he goes, "I'll take the soup."
He got through it, Ray. Was that
by the way? First of all, Ray goes, "You always run over super pussy," which is supposed to be a laugh. But I rush to get to "I'll take the soup," and that works enough.
Yes,
but there's two there.
He says "super pussy," and that gets a laugh. But he doesn't. He never waits for the laugh. He steps on the laugh and goes, "I'll take the soup," and it kills anyway. Yeah.
So the proper way, because Ray would be "super pussy" and get all that laugh, and then hit it. Get the double laugh.
And the guy says, "I'll take the soup."
Yeah, you almost like wait, and then you go, "I'll take the soup."
Okay, because there's going to be people listening who are going to tell this joke at a cocktail party tomorrow.
Yeah, he's thinking it over, and then he finally goes, "Nah, I'll take the soup." And then Ray tells a great one, but I won't give that away. But anyway, let's talk about his movie that I want to
observe one thing and quickly get to his movie, because that's something that he's going to love. We're going to say to him in a minute. I kind of feel like when I watch your stand-up, I go, honestly, Ray, I go, is this guy the best stand-up in the world? I mean, some of your stuff on YouTube and stuff, I'm like, it seems like it's almost overshadowed by how much stuff you've done. in acting. But anyway, go see Ray as a stand-up. I sincerely wanted to say that. But something happened very strange last night. Here's a double whammy. So we get the screener of Somewhere in Queens. Well, I just got off the plane. We just came in. David and I just came in from D.C. We're really wiped out. So I start watching it. I'm cooking dinner. And I'm like, oh, no. Getting into it. Then I bring the laptop upstairs because I'm so jet-lagged. I go, I got to go to sleep. But I got so engaged with the movie, and I've never had this experience this much. Like, the movie is brilliant. I loved it. It completely captivated me. And as a baby boomer parent, it spoke to so many themes, because I don't want to give it away, but it's just the vicarious living of a parent and what you'll do. And I knew dads in the stands who had a superstar son, and it was sort of a miracle. But anyway, honestly, with total sincerity, and David too had the same reaction.
We got back from that Mark Twain thing for Sandler, and we were like, I even said to Dana in Washington, I go, isn't there something we're going to watch from Ray? But I never got anything. And then we got home and they go, oh, yeah, guys, here's a movie. And we're like, oh, shit. So I watched on my laptop last night. First of all, I thought it might be a comedy. Did you write and direct it, or did you direct it? Or
I co-wrote it and I directed it.
Oh, it's so
you're heartbreaking
well done
in it and funny.
It's heartbreaking. When you're talking to that girl in the car, first of all, the son's girlfriend, she was great. She's like a awesome Jennifer Lawrence. She really jumped off.
Everybody is
lights
great.
Up. Everyone's great.
I can't thank you guys enough, man. When we're off the air, I'm going to ask you if you really mean it.
No, we have
Ray. You know what we would say? We would say we didn't get a chance to see it. Would be the punt. I didn't get. The screener didn't play. Or we might say it sure really held my interest. It's just fun to be able to tell you. Maybe it's because we were jet lagged, but it has so many themes in it, and your character is so heartbreaking. Just being a father myself, and just the length a parent will go to for the love of a kid.
The story came out of nuggets of my real experience with my kid and my family, and my son was a basketball player, and he's 6'5", my son. Mm-hmm. So he was one of the star basketball players in high school, and I knew he wasn't going to play in college because he wasn't a guard, and at 6'5", you're a guard, And so when it ended, I was really feeling sad that I'm going to miss sharing this with my son. But if I'm being truthful, I live vicariously through him. I like the attention I was getting too, which how pathetic. But if you think about how pathetic that is, I don't have enough. I have. I'm in movies. I'm on TV,
but that whole world is so different, and it's so interesting. And you're not an athlete. I mean, you might be athletic, but you're not to this level of these guys, which I wouldn't be. And you sort of admire people that can do stuff you can't do, and it's your own kid. Right. And so you take responsibility. You're like, that's my guy out there.
You can't help your ego. Human ego gets intertwined, and the other parents want that have the bench sitter kid or the kid that barely plays, and they would sort of love to have that, and they're trying to get it's a whole social dynamic with parenting. I mean, it's an amazing ego structure of look at my kid. I had one in junior, it was a CYO basketball, so there's the kid who's like 6'2" in 8th grade. So I'm sitting next to his dad, he's getting all the rebounds, and he goes, look at my kid get all those rebounds. I go, well, he is a lot taller than everyone else. He goes, that has nothing to do with it. He just wants to get the ball. Nothing to do with it. My son's 4'11". Are you kidding me?
I know. So and well, that was the germ of the idea for the story was when I felt that emptiness. I just thought I at least have other areas where. My life will be full. But what if it was this poor schlub guy who had nothing else but this, who felt invisible in his real life, and his son brought this out.
But it's a smart way to do it. No, the things that happen, I don't see coming. your wife in it. Did not know who that was. Took me forever because she does such a disappearing act of
Laurie
being.
Metcalf.
Laurie Metcalf is
yeah.
well. Obviously, she's incredible. You both were great together.
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away, but there is a scene
Me
where
neither.
that you captured the tension of someone being busted, and the way that whole scene built, and the way you landed it. You just felt viscerally, shame for your character. So it's like not easy to do. It's not an easy thing to land in a movie.
I'm glad you guys feel that way, man. That makes me feel good.
I'm telling you, I was bawling out of the blue.
Spade was crying.
Wanting it to be like, because it's funny moments, because you're a funny guy, but when you weave in, which is very tricky, a real situation where you're not trying to do like, I'm going to do a joke now. It's just the way people talk, and then someone's being kind of funny just because that's the way you talk. When the girl comes over and someone goes, she's so nice. And she goes, I do not fucking like her. It just comes, those things come out of the blue. That might not be a great example, but you just do funny things.
Well, you're talking about the Italian, my wife, who's, what I wanted to do was take this story, which will be universal. I'm glad you identify.
I believe
with it,
so.
Relate to it.
Yes.
But put it in this specific universe, which I lived in. I grew up Italian in Queens, but my wife, I married into that world that we see in the movie. The traditional people, the right off the boat people, everything with all the traditions and the parties and the all the food and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, let's just do this story and make it specific, but it's kind of like the formula that worked for Everybody Loves Raymond. We made it specific, but it was identified. When it comes to family, everybody kind of identifies with it, no matter where you're from.
Yeah, it wasn't I'm not Italian. I'm not from Queens. I was just relating to different things, even heartbreaking stuff with relationships and dating. And there's a lot going on where you go, oh God, yeah, it's funny, and then they catch you off guard again.
And just the one character, which the casting of your son he was amazing too, and just had such.
I can't tell you how hard it was to find a kid who can.
Sure.
He doesn't. The kid's an introvert, so he has to emote without saying a lot, and so he has to be a pretty good actor and also a good basketball player. It was so hard to find a guy.
Of course, he was shooting threes and.
Oh yeah, he's a good player, and we would get a list of guys. We would look at all of them, and we would narrow it down, and then we would say, "Put yourself on tape playing basketball for 5 minutes," because they all said they could play, and within 10 seconds, you could see this guy never. It's all edited
together.
Yeah, and this kid was driving Postmates when we gave him the role. He was just he just had college films that he did. He's a great kid too, so I'm happy for him. Yeah.
You touched on so many just experiential things that were just like I knew a guy. I don't want to give names away, but like his first love, he's 20, and he basically told me that he'd said to her, "I'll love you no matter what, forever," or something to that effect. And then she was having sex with his best friend the next day or something. It was like
he said he said.
I love you forever.
Yeah, too early.
Too early. And it's like, there's a lot of stuff in your movie that.
But she was like, I'm covered. Even though I'm going to have sex with your friend, you're still loving me, right? That was the deal?
Yeah.
And he's like, well.
I'll love you forever, no matter what. On the second date or something. It's like,
Oh, believe me, I used to pour my heart out to these girls. But I can see it, writing-wise, because I've tried to write movies, the fact that you're wrapping up every story is very hard to do. I mean, everything sort of just falls into place all the way to the very end.
Yeah. And sometimes we thought we don't need to wrap up everything, but no, but it's true. But
they're all very nice. I like them all.
And I love Sebastian in the movie too. He's just a great tough brother. Can I ask you a question? Just popped in my head. When did you know your wife was the one, so to speak? Was that a long courtship, or you were thinking marriage pretty quickly?
We worked in a bank together, my wife and I.
That. Yeah.
And I'm going to be honest, she was the third woman I asked out in the bank. The first,
Two security guards first.
Wow.
Yeah. the first two turned me down. And
Did she know?
I think she knew, that I was interested in this other girl first. And then it was when I quit the bank that we started dating, but I had nothing, man. I was living at home. I give her credit because I wasn't a catch really, I was driving my bike to work and all, and she took a shot, and now she's house shopping every 3 months.
What is interesting, pre-money, pre-fame, living at home, working in a bank, and so there's some nice stuff about that, It's a big...
but it wasn't love at first sight, I'm not going to say that, but
hi, honey.
No, but it was
like me and Dana.
It was like it's kind of like getting fired from news radio, It was. It works out. It worked out. Yeah. I mean, it was my life would be very different if it didn't happen,
Yeah.
I sort of like that little Jennifer Esposito. She did a nice job.
Yes, I did a movie with her once, Master of Disguise. I thought she was also
she was really good
film.
with that little bit she did.
Yep, and she really, I didn't know what was going on with that, but I just like the tough dad. Everyone knows a tough dad, and that's just the way they are. And you being a full-grown adult with a tough dad is hard to sit there and eat it all the time.
Yeah.
Have you guys directed anything ever?
No, I haven't.
Man, it scared the hell out of me. Man. I can't tell you how frightening it was leading up to it. I wasn't gonna direct it, but my agent told me, it's too personal. Get in there and do it. And I was like,
another 10 grand in it for you.
Another union. It's another union.
Yeah.
You're in another union all of a sudden.
Dental.
But
So that's your first directing job. Okay.
Yeah. I hadn't directed any Raymonds. I hadn't directed anything. And I've been in the edit room for the last 25 years. I've been writing and kind of directing. With Raymond, you're directing even though you're not directing.
Yeah.
But I know nothing about the technical side of it. I didn't know one lens from another. I knew what I wanted to see, what I wanted it to look like. So he just convinced me, surround yourself with the great cinematographer who can collaborate with you and just pay attention to what you want on the screen. And I mean, it was so nerve-wracking though before it started. Once it started, it was all good,
But I do think the writer, and it's so personal, it's great that you were completely in charge. You would have been de facto in charge, even if you're not taking the credit.
I'm glad he made me. I'm glad he made me do it, because now having done it, I would do it again. If it's something, the weird thing is I got offers to direct now, and the movie hasn't even come out, and people heard I directed. So I got a couple little offers to direct these other things. But I had no desire if it wasn't something I wrote,
Or something you really have your heart.
Yeah, if something I was super passionate about, maybe, but I think I would do it again. If I write something again, I would try it again,
And you have to demand the DP from Corky Romano that you got. Give me the best of the best.
Is that true? Was he on Corky Romano? Oh.
No, I just trying to think
that's
of
a funny
movie.
name. It was a Chris Kattan comedy.
Yeah. No, I know. I know
but it's a funny word package. Corky
funny.
Romano. It's a great name of a human being.
Can I tell you of my SNL experience? I loved every second of it. And Sports Center is the one that stands out.
Right.
But if I have to be honest and pick my favorite sketch, it was the one Chris Kattan when he was the lounge. You guys may not.
He was a singer.
He was the lounge guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he brought up me. I was like a Shecky Green has-been comic, and it was so much fun. Yeah, that was my favorite sketch. I think of the two times. I think.
Well, he does great on the show. It's great. That was fun. I mean, I like seeing you out there. And there's one called The Big Baby. Well, I think people will look you up. That's fun when we have someone on the podcast. People go and look up sketches.
Just look up Ray Romano.
The Big Baby was Will Ferrell. Yeah, Will Ferrell. Yeah. Did you overlap with Kattan, with Chris Kattan?
I did a little with Kattan, 1 year with Ferrell,
and
the cheerleaders and that. And then I was on my way out. But I could tell. I was like, it's time to go, and there's good people here.
Yeah.
It's in good hands.
How
I was
many
giving,
years
like, a
did
big
you do?
speech.
How many years you do?
I did 6. Dana
Wait,
did
Dana?
7.
Yeah.
And I've hosted 3. David's hosted a couple times.
Twice.
Yeah. Each one's different.
When was the last time you hosted, Dana? When
I
did
think
you
it
do
was like 2011 or something. I found it the last time just so it's really exhausting when you're a cast member and there's 2 sketches.
Yeah.
You can really focus. I too much of a control freak, but there's also a whimsy to how the show unfolds. You know, unless you try to write it ahead of time, which isn't. You know,
Yeah.
I think for me it's like then I've been there doing guest spots. I'm on Fallon, and Lauren will just walk down on a Thursday. You'll do church chat this week. You know, I got a flight out tomorrow. You'll be doing church chat. It's that thing of like Ted Cruz and all that. So I've gone back and done those guest spots, which are really fun. And I love doing Wayne's World on the 40th.
Yeah.
You know, I love playing that character at 60.
Did you go to the 40th, Ray?
No, I didn't. I went to the 25th with Peter Boyle.
Tight list.
I remember with Peter Boyle. When's the next one, man? What are they coming up
3
on?
years
50.
will be the 50th. So do you want
go.
2 for...
Yeah,
Do you
give
want
me
us to
2.
talk to
Ray
anybody?
Ray plus 1. Let's see. Go ahead.
Dana, do your kids do stand-up still? Are they still doing it?
Now we have a production company. We're making content. We finished a scripted. You know, stand-up has to be. Well, it's just rough out there now. It was heartbreaking to see that it's either opening for me where the audience is so jacked up, or it's an open mic where because I suffered so much in bad open mics, and it wasn't my fault. You know, they're having dinner or heckling, a bar. You know, but now doing content is more specific, more connected. Like we're going to do this
More
thing.
fun,
It's not ethereal. You know, and basically stand up. In the end of the day, is traveling. If it's really your job, it's about traveling. I didn't watch, you know, Jackie Gleason or Carol Burnett in the 60s and go, I want to do that. But I didn't think that would mean we're gonna push back from the gate in a few minutes. But right now we have some maintenance guys coming on board. You know, so the travel part of it is the part I don't like. But the gig
my
is
son
fun.
tried it. My one son, one of my twin boys did a little road. He went to Albuquerque. He went to Denver and did these one-nighters. He did like 5 of them, and that was his only taste of it. And he got depressed that, you know, he was at a bar where they weren't even facing him, you know, and he was getting upset that he was. What if I'm not funny? I'm like, you can't tell you're not if you're funny or not from that, you know. It's by the way, you got to do that. That's the sad part about stand-up in the beginning.
Years.
You got to muscle through all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And I went to a lot of open mics, and most open micers, the audience, even if the audience is pretty good, the reason they're not doing well is because the audience doesn't get what they're talking about. Like they don't set it up properly. Like clarity, without clarity, which you learn over time. But anyway, they had nights where they would crush, you know, but it still has to be a specific passion, and the stuff we're doing now, they're enjoying more.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Also, stand-up sometimes leads to doing content. They're sort of just going, let's get to the part where we make stuff.
It teaches you a lot to trust
Yeah.
your blink. And that in the end of the day, the sensibility, if it's similar in a room, it's so much more pleasant. Like at SNL, there was a very narrow sensibility. And so when something worked, everyone all knew it. Sitting around the writer's room, oh, that'll work. That'll kill.
Right.
But, you know, anyway, it's been a good life. David has
good luck with the movie, Ray.
Thank you, man. April 21.
Somewhere in Queens, and it's in theaters? Or is
April 21, it goes into theaters.
Somewhere in Queens. I highly recommend it. I really do. I think it touches a lot of stuff. It lands beautifully. Movies just don't work that much. I mean, The Big Sick was another one of those kind of indie films that was sort of, or small, that this is like, this is in that league, if not better, or what touched me more because it was so specific to my experience.
Me too.
Well,
Me
thank
too.
you.
Yeah,
thank
great.
you. And I'll see you. Will I see you in Vegas, David? Where are you going?
I'll be over at the Venetian with Nikki Glazer, but I'll yell over because
son of a bitch.
I know, but it's 8:30.
I'm playing I'm headlining the Mirage. I guess you're out of town on.
When?
Oh God, I hope it's right.
You're gonna do it? Oh,
July 7th
Mirage
or
is
8th
fun.
or 14th or 15th. Yeah, in July. Yeah.
Well, I'm there. You know who took your place, David? Right? Is
No.
Brian Regan.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
That
Brian
guy
Regan.
is a monster.
Good for him.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
I don't have time to be opening jars and stuff. Can't do it. But I love that guy.
That's it.
Yeah.
Walk him through the joke. Give him super pussy.
Yeah.
We loved it, Ray, and we hope to see you around campus and here, there, and everywhere.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Fix it in post.
Fix it.
Fix it up.
It's right. It's baked. It's ready to go. Okay. Thanks, buddy. Take care. Thanks for being on.
This has been a podcast presentation of Cadence 13. Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes. Available now for free wherever you get your podcast.
No joke, folks. Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13. Executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment.
The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman with production and engineering support from Serena Regan and Chris Basil of Cadence 13. Dana, we have a special episode today.
Yep.
This is a reflection on hilarious and very interesting
celebration
life.
as well.
Yeah, celebration. Chris Farley, two-parter.
Chris Farley, obviously one of the naturally funniest person you could ever meet in your life. And we got a lot of his friends together and family together, and we had talks about him, and it goes to a lot of different places. And
We told everyone, let's share some lighthearted stories. Anything you can think about him, anyone you want to say. And we had a lot of people call and say, can we be a part of it? And it was 90% lighthearted, but now and then you can't help it. If you're talking about someone that, really affected everyone's life that is on the podcast, that's going to be chiming in, you realize you can't help but get choked up at times. It's just the way it is. It was 25 years ago this month, and that is baffling to me that it was that long, and there doesn't a day go by where you don't think about them. And
so we tried to do this respectfully. We had some fun because Chris was fun, and like David said, we do have people talk to his addiction and how he died, and so we just hope you really like it. It's
there's a few heavy moments, and we got it just kind of goes up and down. That's just what happens when you talk about someone. And I think this is a good, Dana, for younger listeners or SNL people that there's a lot of people I know that don't even know Chris Farley. I see people that go, "Oh, you know Led Zeppelin?" And they're like, "I know his face if I saw him. I know the name. I can picture him." And I'm like, well, that's actually a band. You don't know Pink Floyd? They're like, "Dude, I don't even know Pink." All right. I'm like, ooh, you are young. So it's just a way that Chris Farley is someone we just think and you might not. And if you've heard about him, this is a great place to just hear the thoughts of everyone who's very tight with him. And then you'll hear about sketches you might want to look up or movies. And I think it's a good opportunity for everyone just to talk out loud.
And if you know him, you get to kind of revisit. I feel like I know Chris better just after doing these interviews. Just hearing from all the different people who knew him and worked with him. So
here you go. This is Adam Sandler. He obviously Adam, and we were all on SNL together at the same time. He knew Chris in and out. Chris loved him. We had so many laughs together. And here's his thoughts.
How's your act right now? Because did you have to do all new from your special?
I did about. All the stand-up ain't on the special, and then I do the things I do from the special. I do the Farley tune, and then I do "Grow Old with You," and I think that maybe one other song I don't fucking remember. But
I like the electric Farley. I hadn't really just objectively watched you play electric guitar in a while, so that really made me laugh. A comedian, quote unquote, is shredding. It's like, So you did the electric on the tour, right? With Chris Farley song?
Yes, that's the favorite. Yeah, it's a fun part, getting the wail all the way on a guitar, but then all of a sudden finding yourself way off key and people going, "You're making it worse,"
and just faking it and just like grinding it. You don't know where you are on the fretboard.
Dude, remember when we played Dogs? I got the shredder lead on that.
That's right.
While you were playing drums. With me, you, Farley, Mike Myers, everybody was doing funny shit now.
Yeah. And I was on the drum, kicking it down, laying it down. And you guys would wander off, and I go, "Fuck these guys, man! I'm just doing boom, boom."
Come back to me. You
come
kept
back
saying.
to me.
God damn.
What was Dogs? A sketch?
Well, Dogs was like we did like a Seattle band.
Yeah.
Oh, I
it's like little dogs. Yeah. What do you mean? Trying to remember? It was a fucking smash.
It never ends.
Dude, you want to hear one that I fucking laughed at the other day?
I'll tell you a sketch of mine that killed motherfuckers.
Was the Brady Bunch versus Partridge Family.
Oh, it was amazing.
I saw it on Instagram or Twitter the other day. I watched the whole thing. I go, this is hysterical. Everyone's in it.
Who were you? I'm guessing Dana was Keith Partridge.
I was David Cassidy, Keith Partridge. Yeah.
And Spade was buried in the fucking drum set as like one of the baby fucking partridges. And then I kept sticking my head like when Dana was talking, I'd find the camera on the side like this. Hello.
So
I'm still in this.
You are. That's funny, man. If you ever listen, accidentally, you listen to the 70s on XM radio and they play a Partridge Family tune, they're all incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They got the harmonies are perfect. They are irresistible pop.
Oh, it's so good. You know, I had one line in that sketch, Adam, and I say it, and they don't even give me a courtesy close-up. I watch my phone. I go, what the fuck? They didn't even cut to me. You just hear me in the back go, hey, man, we got to get this next tune out. And I'm like, that was me.
Dude.
And Farley was Reuben Kincaid.
I was blocking that, David, and Lauren was screaming, "Stay wide,
stay wide,
stay wide."
Farley was Reuben Kincaid, and he was just nodding, like, "Yeah, this is a good sound."
There's too much ham in one space. We've got to stay wide. Too many showboaters looking for the lens.
By the way, Dana, when Sandler, I have to say, to start off this Farley stuff. Adam's Farley song, I'm glad you kept it in because it's so good. There's more pictures in it. Audience is totally like
you could never not do that song.
Gut punch. They don't even know what's coming. It's funny and it's sad, and then it's everyone just like stops in their tracks and goes, "Oh my god!" Because they're laughing the whole night, and they get hit with that thing, and then everyone walks away going, "That's the best thing in the world."
And maybe it's indelicate to say, but it's a very nice tune.
And it's a great song.
It's like a really sweet, the chord changes and the melody. It just is a good
It's
song.
very Neil Youngy. Very Neil Youngy.
Yeah, a lot of G's and A minors. And
exactly. G, E minor, D. Go down a lead, move on. No, freaking they just love seeing Farley up on the screen. I mean, the place goes bonkers every time you say his name. It's so nice.
And can you guys, when you see it, even though you've done it a lot, I mean, every night I assume there's just a little bit of a lump in your throat, or it just gets you can't never get away from that feeling, right? With the pictures of Chris and
you're right. Well, when we first would do it 3 years ago, whenever we'd be on the road back when we first started playing Farley's tune, I would get watered up and shaky voice almost every night. Mm-hmm. Now that I've already done it, and I like the crowd knows it's coming and stuff. It's not. I don't have that same like I'm going to cry right now. But when they cheer for him,
it makes you cry.
That's when you tear up. You go, "Oh, it's so fucking great, man, that they still go like that shit for what he meant to their life." And the visuals up there when they see Farley and see all the insanity. And I probably say maybe 10 good references of what he did, maybe 15. And then you go, well, there's actually about fucking 100 more. And he was only on the show for what, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I do believe he's got the best. And I said it to Chris Rock a minute ago, the best of tape just for sheer power, And it was, I don't know the time, because I left in 93 and, you know, he'd done the Patrick Swayze one, but then, you know, Van Down by the River and others, there just was an explosiveness and a sweetness. It's just a one-off, Chris, you know.
Wow. The whole world was pulling for every movie made. He was ridiculous. I you know, boys, we're supposed to come up with like one story to tell about Chris, right?
That's great if you have one. Yeah.
I don't know what to say because I got a lot of them I wouldn't say because they're fucking bananas. But it's funny. I just Hurley, he just told me a funny one because I said, "What am I going to talk about with Farley? I've already said everything."
Yeah.
And he goes. I remember one time. It's not really like a great Farley story, but he goes. I remember one time. It was like the show was right about to start, and I was running somewhere, and I go, "Where are you running to?" And Hurley, he goes, "Oh, I'm going to find Farley." I go, "Oh yeah, what are you going to tell Farley?" He goes, "Oh, I was going to tell him to take it down a little bit in this one part of the skit." And I go, and Hurley, he goes, "And you put your arm around me and you said, 'Don't do that.'" Hurley goes, "Oh, why not?" I'm just one. He goes, he said, I go, "For your own safety. Don't tell Farley to take it down."
Because then he's going to go 5 times.
Yeah.
5 times bigger, and then he's also going to fucking hate you the rest of the time.
He's going to kill you and anyone around you.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, shit. I remember that. By the way, that Farley song, Adam, I went in the dressing room every night, all 5 shows.
I remember. Oh yeah. You did. Well, you didn't want to cry, or you didn't.
Well, it just gets me off guard. Even one line from it, you know what I mean? Like I don't know which one, but any of them. So I think
I say that I miss watching you fuck with Spade.
That one's a tough one.
There's
a lot of them where once I just hear the beginning, it's such a cool guitar beginning. I go, oh no, that's it, and then I go in the back, just almost by reflex. I'm just going to go back here because I don't want to get into it, and I'm still a little immune to it, like you are, like you're saying, but it just you can't help. Plus, the song is so like hauntingly well done that all of it, and I don't see the pictures for sure, but I know you got one in there of Norm now, which is cool.
Yes, oh man, Dana, at the very end,
jeez.
I say, I wish you were still here. I say, you, me, and Norm. We're getting on a plane to go shoot Grown Ups 3, right? But we have this shot. It's from Billy Madison, and it's Chris and Norm sitting next to each other, eating sandwiches on the side of a bus, and Farley's just laughing his balls off, being a nut as the bus driver, and Norm looks like he's smiling along with him. But I remember fucking Norm always loved Farley beyond anything. Like, well, God, man, he would always just phrase shit so nice about how great Farley was, and how about when fucking Farley would be doing a skit in some shit part of 8H where you're not supposed to, like the bad part where they don't hear you as good and visually
under the bleachers,
whatever, and you'd hear his fucking voice blasting out and destroying it. Nothing could stop him.
He had
such a good voice.
And we were talking about with that voice when he would play distress for laughs. I did a sketch once with Chris, and it was such a good sport. I don't know who wrote it, but he's like a fan of Ross Perot. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the greatest. Okay. You know, he's like, well, so he wanted my autograph or something. But at some point, Ross Perot says something like, well, I'm your king. I'm whatever. And so Chris got on all fours, and I was riding him, and then he's doing his fart, and I'm going, go, Picky boy, and I'm spanking his ass, and he's so committed. He just blew the roof off with just being under distress. Like, I cannot mimic his energy or that power of that gear he had, man. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, Adam, I think you would understand this when people just in the last year or so asked me, when he did that Chippendale sketch, you know, how could you let that happen because took his shirt off and stuff? And they go, that's so rude that you would make fun. They go, why didn't you stop that? I go, first of all, you think I'm going to stop a guy from doing a sketch that's going to blow through the roof? Like I'm going to go, and I'm a feature player. He was a cast member. It was very new. It was his 4th show. And it didn't even, how about it also didn't cross my mind? All I thought was this sketch is going to fucking crunch. And
Yeah.
it did, but I'm like, that's not my place. I'm supposed to go
Yeah. Oh, this is going to ultimately hurt you and break your heart. And yeah, you never thought like that. You just, cause he was so comfortable with taking the shirt off
and everything else off. Yeah.
And taking all his clothes off and fucking being loose. And looking back at it, you go, oh shit, he was in a lot of pain, and that was the way he was dealing with it. Maybe, I don't fucking know, but there wasn't one part of you that you'd be like, oh, I don't know, Chris.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's gonna make you feel good.
I don't think at that point that Chris was much heavier than a lot of guys in the audience.
Truly.
I mean, he was heavy, but he was so fucking athletic in that sketch.
Yeah.
He was moving, and he was just an athlete who was.
We were at Mohawk one time for a weekend.
Mohawk, we talked.
Our
retreat,
so funny. Yeah.
Our retreat, the best, and he was the funniest part of that always. But we were playing football. He fucking grabbed me one time, and like we weren't playing tackle, but he grabbed me and like pretended he was going to tackle me, and every fucking vertebrae popped in my body, and I was just like, "Good God!" He grabbed me so hard and squeezed, and he was a brawler.
Remember when Jay Moore kept saying, "I could out wrestle you"? Farley?
Oh yeah,
I would not get involved in this. And then Jay Moore, they were by the elevators on 17 on a writing night, of course, when everyone's doing anything but write. And then Jay Moore and Farley's getting so mad because he goes, I could take you. And then I think Jay Moore goes at his legs and trips him down and pins him like right away because he wasn't ready. And then he crawled on the elevator and it shut, and Farley started screaming. And Jay's like, I pinned you. And and he went bananas because he got pinned. Wow. And I was like, oh my God, get away from Farley because he's going to kill the next person he sees.
Whoever walks down the hall, he grabs Lord. He pins down.
Just snaps Marcy in half.
I remember he told me a story one time. I don't know the exact thing, but I was in Madison one time with him, and then he just talked about this story. He goes, I said, hey, we were talking about fighting or something. He got in some fights and shit. He goes, and he pointed to the spot we were walking. He goes, well, me and the boys did a number on some fella right there one time or something like that. I said, oh, really? What happened? He goes, ooh, let's see. I think that fella said something bad about my sister. And I couldn't have any of that. Something like that.
Yeah.
Gave a guy a whoop.
I like the idea of having boys. Me and the boys decided, I want to have some boys. We gave a whooping. We didn't take kindly to that kind of action with our younger sibling. You understand? And it was a shallow grave. We did not dig it too deep because we actually wanted the police to find him and interview us and our boys because we know how to tell fibs in the South. I'm just going to do that character for the rest of the
that.
You have to understand.
You got to understand. Now, Adam Sandler is what you call a superstar. There are stars and then the superstars. And megastars, now that's Beyonce and these other kinds of people. They do stadiums on multiple nights, Billie Eilish and what have you. But Adam Sandler is a bona fide superstar. But a megastar is another level. But I never bet against him. Never bet against him.
Jeez.
He's been working towards it.
He's graduating from Sheds, and he's going to be doing stadiums in Berlin next time you look at that boy.
God, he loved Adam, man. Loved Adam. He was like in awe. The guitar. Actually, one of the best things he did was Lunch Ladyland.
Oh my God, that was amazing when he was the lunch lady. Yes, you know what's funny, boys? We did a video for MTV together first. We did a video.
Oh, for Lunch Ladyland?
Yeah, Lunch Ladyland. He played the lunch lady in the video. It's somewhere. And we did like a cool, like a neat looking video that kind of was like in the style of Pearl Jam or something like that. Back in the day, we took like the lunch lady video very serious, and Farley was doing the funniest shit in that. I think he came by for, I think it was a 1-day video shoot, and he was a madman. And then he did it on the show and kicked ass. That was the best thing about being in a skit with Farley. You just felt safe. You're like, well, he'll fucking kill.
Yeah.
You know? let's let whatever. This thing's gonna be just fine. He'll destroy, and I'll fucking ride the wave with him. It was like being in the perfect wave. He would set a fucking a nice whatever the fuck it was. He'd set this great pick for you. You'd be able to throw a layup in and go like, "Hey, I scored!" But meanwhile, he did all the work, you know.
And he would love to unprofessionally try to make you laugh or anyone laugh in the middle of the sketch. When he gets close to your head and he crosses his eyes or something, and because he goes, "Davey, I can cross my eyes, but the camera only sees one eye, and so I can cross them and they'll never see it." And I'm like, "God, what are you planning?" Because he thought the ultimate victory is if you laughed, you know.
He's always telling you magical power, but he almost broke. Well, he almost broke you in Pepperboy with his. He had one line. Well, thank you, Pepperboy. It was a 10-minute sketch. We were out there.
Yes.
Yeah, he played it. He went big on that. I wish he told him to take it down on that one. But, he did this other one. What the fuck else did he? Oh, we used to do that corn skit, Zagat's. And he dressed like an old woman, and I was an old man and stuff. And he'd always grab my knee in the middle of his lines or try to shake me, and fucking I couldn't help but laugh. I laughed every time I was with him. I laughed during Billy Madison so much when he was the bus driver. We had like the light was going down. We had a few minutes to shoot a scene, and he was out of his mind, staring at me in the face and going whatever he was doing. And the camera was on the left side. I just kept making my head stare way off to the right because I couldn't ruin the take, but I was laughing the whole time.
Oh, I told you on the tour when he goes, "That Veronica Vaughn," he like stops you with his hand, and then you're kind of looking away smiling because I go, "Were you going to laugh?" Because he's going, "It's one piece of ace."
One piece of ace. Hey, from experience, dude. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he's like, "Yeah. Does that for a half hour.
Oh, yeah. When he was turning dark red on the bus and shit. Yeah. It's hard not to. Every story about him, you're smiling. He was ferocious, but even his bad moods. Looking back at him, you laugh your ass off with how viciously bad a mood he would get, and even he would laugh at it. When I remember I'd come in and you too, David. You guys fucking had more than anybody. Yeah. But I would call him on a bad mood. I'd be like, "Something? What happened? Are you all right?" You know, like if you called him out on it. And then he could just break into an uncontrollable laughing fit and be like, yeah, you're right. Yeah, I was being a little pissy there.
Oh, my God. One time he left me the most violent voicemail, and it was terrifying. And I went to work, and he goes, "David, did you get my joke voice?" I go, "What? What?" Joke voice, but he's so psychotic, and he goes, "David, don't tell Lauren." I go, "I'm not telling anyone." I went right to the fucking police.
Dude, me and him used to do fucking prank phone calls together. In Bernie's voice, and do it for like an hour at a time, and just
in the office.
Yeah, just sitting in our office, calling random hotels, setting up. We used to call like hip places like what the fuck was it?
Columbus or those kind of cool places.
Or like
the Rainbow Room. I don't know.
Whatever. Just places that cars would go to, and we would fucking as Bernie tell them to set up. We need your table tonight, you know. And we would say some superstar is coming. You know, I need a table for Madonna tonight for 25. And they'd be like, 25 at 9 o'clock. And they would be like, "Oh, geez, that's right in the heat of everything. That's a lot of people. If you want me to tell Madonna she can't fit your plate, you got it." No, we didn't say that, sir. That's a lot of people. We need a table for 30 now. And
she likes green beans. Have them ready.
And that's Bernie Brillstein, the talent manager of all Hollywood, who was very a big Santa Claus guy who would, if he had to knock heads together, was a huge person. Yes. That's a funny take on her.
We are lucky enough to have Mrs. Farley on, Chris's mom, and his oldest brother, Tom. And they're going to tell us a couple things we might not have known about Chris.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Tom!
What? Hey!
Don't scare Mrs. Farley.
Hey, David.
Come on, mother.
Oh,
Hi, Mrs. Farley.
How are you, David and Dana?
Hi.
You look
Miss
very
Farley.
nice.
You look adorable. I want to meet your dermatologist.
Oh,
you look incredible.
You wouldn't like him. Now, he fainted after he worked on me. Yeah.
Oh.
So what's up?
You're the only ones that can do a split screen, and I can't see either of you.
I know.
But anyway, no, there you go. Don't hurt your neck, and I won't hurt mine. By the way, Mrs. Farley, Dana, is the only one that sends me a Christmas card every year. She's so sweet.
Birthday.
Yep.
It was either a Christmas card or a birthday, David. You had a 50-50 chance, and you blew it.
No, I was tricking her to see if she still got her wits about her, and you knew
I don't at all. But anyway, I wouldn't forget either one of you.
You've got your marbles. I can tell just by looking at you.
I'm going to start before I rev
Tom.
you guys up.
Right.
And you don't even have to rev up and really do anything.
Okay.
But when Dana, I always eat early and I always eat quickly when we go out. So we always tell the story about Mrs. Farley that we all went to dinner once, and we were all piling into the sushi or whatever restaurant or the Ivy or something, and we're all sitting down. And I go to the waitress, we'll get crab cakes and maybe a Caesar. And she goes, "Oh, we're ordering?" And then she goes, I need a menu. I haven't even sat down yet.
I relate
but everyone
to that.
thinks it. So every time I start to order, someone goes, "Oh, we're ordering."
We're ordering so soon?
Because we'd sit for 15 minutes, talk, get the menus. Yeah. But of course, I was rudely called out. And I was rudely ordering, and then she was very sweet to say, "Oh, I'll order. I'm not seated, or I don't have a menu also."
But now you should know that David, now he calls the restaurant while he's driving there and orders.
I have done that.
So the food is at the table when he arrives.
Oh, David, that's smart.
That's like something Meghan Markle might do.
When a man's got to eat, a man's got to eat. David Spade, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Well, Mom's knows that when it's go time, when it's time to eat, in our family, and the food comes. So
listen, I patented a new product on Shark Tank. It's called the Yuck Bag.
Oh, no.
We know all about the Yuck Bag now. John told
Shark.
us.
Oh,
what?
man.
I want to ask Mrs. Farley, because you have five children and you're feeding them. What was your go-to meals that you would serve your family?
Anything in a can.
Casserole, in cans, like we had 5 in our household as well, 1,500 square feet, 5 kids, 4 boys and a daughter. And there was a lot. If my mom was busy and I had a friend come over, she would say pancake batter in the fridge for dinner. Help yourself.
Yeah, perfect.
So we'd have pancakes for dinner sometimes.
My mom was big on fish sticks.
Oh, I like those too. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I like those too. And the batter kind of. I didn't quite go with the pancakes because I never left the stove.
Mom was the casserole from the casserole era.
Casserole, like macaroni and cheese casserole.
Tuna casserole.
Oh, yeah. We had the
hamburger helper.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, it was gone before I even sat down. I have to get it back up again.
You're the skinny one because you're working, and then you get the last dibs in the food, and there's no way there's any left.
Was there a fire sale in our house? There was, if we had sweet cereal like Corn Pops or Sugar Smacks or that. My brother Mark, we called him the human garbage disposal.
Oh yeah.
He would pour the whole thing, and it'd be a giant bowl you would do cake batter in, and he would eat the whole thing. So there was a race for the sweets in our household. If you got to be fast if you're going to get
absolutely. Absolutely. Dana, I didn't know you had one sister and 4 brothers.
Yeah, 3 older brothers.
Yeah.
a younger sister, and my dad was a high school teacher. My mom was a preschool teacher, and we were very barely middle class, but we had a lot of fun. But we had baked. We go to the bakery and get the day old, and sometimes the 2-day old, and put them in the freezer to eat. You know,
French
so I'm sure you guys had
tastes the same.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of. Did you have a side of beef in a freezer in the garage or something, or did you get steak?
One time, Tom, my husband Tom, brought a side of beef home, and there was no place to put it. I had a small freezer.
Except the dinner table.
Out beef like crazy. No, we didn't have a big freezer.
Yeah.
So that was difficult.
He just brought home a side of beef and handed you a machete and said, "You figure it out."
He said, "Go to it, Mom. Go to it."
Was he good at chores around the house, or lazy?
Well, that was the problem. Like Dad would send us all the boys out, like go shovel the walk or rake the leaves, and it would end up with like huge fight because somebody was we were all coasting and slacking.
So lollygaggers and gold brickers in that family.
We did it. We had the same thing. We'd have to go out and we would balance the tools. You know, we just had, and then when he'd come out the front door, we just go like we're raking. You know, we balance the tool. You did that too, Tom? Yeah.
Yes, we're at it, Dad. We're doing it. Yep.
4 boys. Should have taken us 45 minutes. We were out there all afternoon long.
Yeah.
Just trimming, hoeing, lawn mowing, all of the above.
No lawn mowing. He didn't put it. That's a dangerous. That's heavy equipment. That's not. That would be bad.
Dad was a little nervous about that power mower in the hands of the boys. No, we couldn't do that one. Shoveling, not bad. But
we were just telling the story that Chris told me once when you were typical story driving around and Dad was driving all of you and he goes, "Mom, pull over. I'm hungry. I'm starving." And you go, "Christopher, you just ate an hour ago." And your dad would go, "Ha ha, good boy."
Yeah. That always puzzled me because we'd have a late breakfast or something, 12 o'clock on the dot. Where's lunch? And I said, "You just ate. What are you talking about?" But it says on my watch, it's 12 o'clock. I said, "What kind of, the mind says I've got to eat. It's 12.
That's my mom.
The cook says no.
Yeah, the cook's got to take a rest. So is there anything you guys remember you wanted to say about anything you thought of that was interesting story, funny story? It doesn't matter, anything.
I had a question I was thinking, because Mom all week was like, "What are they going to ask? What are they going to ask?" I'm like, you know what? I've got a question. I have a question. Like for like 20 years, we were like used to Chris's, we were, that was part of our life. We were totally used to it. I'm like, my question is like, what was your first impression like when this got delivered into your world?
Yeah, this hurricane. Yeah. I met him at the Omni Hotel. I was a featured player writer and I had done 4 shows and I came back over the summer and Chris Rock were hired.
I was at that hotel. I was there.
Remember that's where they put us up. Soup was like $8 and Rob Schneider kept ordering and I go, "Don't charge that to Lauren. We'll get fired immediately." So I'd heard about Chris. I heard his audition was funny. I heard he was good. And I met him that first day and I think we walked over together and we just gravitated. He wasn't terrifying at first.
That look, yeah.
He's the most lovable, like fun, happy Madison, Wisconsin guy. And then
Midwestern.
Yeah, I just went over and I was from Arizona. We talked about that and then we just sort of bonded. But he really took to everyone. Everyone loved him right away. I think the funnier part is the people that went to college with him, and he was a little bit of a boozy Susie, if I may be so bold. And those people going, I'm sure if you took a poll, who will not make it in show business in this school, they would say, well, not him. He's not going to go anywhere. He's too crazy. And then he's the one that blows up the biggest. They must have been shocked.
True. Yeah, a little, but he was just so, they always talk about like, they saw that he was definitely destined for something. He was different, but
something.
He's the only cast member I remember meeting Chris and was really just charmed by him. And he was making me laugh. So I invited him home for dinner. My wife and I had an apartment on 84th and Broadway. I said, you've got to meet Chris. So she cooked a meal and we went over there and hung out with him. And we just, and for that evening, we just met charming, as you two are, Midwestern charming values and humility, you know. So we just took a liking to Chris right away. And then as time went on, I noticed his explosive talent, you know, the way he could go from 0 to 100, and he had a rhythm with his voice. I think he knew exactly what he was doing comedically. I think very, very smart, about how to land jokes, how to move himself around. And so, I was just charmed by him, like I'm charmed right now.
Did I ever tell you the story before that Omni moment that you just described? What happened before that?
No.
So I was working in New York. I worked at Bear Stearns, so I had an office on Park Avenue, and Chris rolls into town, staying just up the street. And we had lunch, and he's about to go back to the hotel, and he goes, I don't have any, I don't have a paycheck yet. Can you, lend me? He was just coming off of starvation at Second City. So I'm like, can I borrow some money? I'm like, okay. So I go to my, the ATM, and, the $300 I had in there. I'm like, all right, you can have, here's 150. I know you're good for it. And he goes, Dad said I should go to, walk up Fifth Avenue. Where's that? I'm like, just right up there.
Oh.
So he walks up, and I get a call like a half hour, 45 minutes later. It's like, yeah, Tom, I'm going to need more money. I'm like, what do you mean you're going to need more money? I'm like, I was just walking on Fifth Avenue, like Dad told me, and I saw these guys playing cards. I'm like, no, were there 3 of them? Like, yeah. And they were like playing this game, and everyone was winning. I'm like, yeah, okay, they're all together.
No.
And I'm like, and he goes, and some guy points me, he goes, do you know where the card, the card is? And Chris goes, yeah. And he goes, how much you got? And I go, what did you do? He goes, I put down $150. Like the whole nut, really, you just dumped it off.
Right.
Yeah, and I lost it all. I'm like, okay, all right, come back. I'll give you the other. City. I'll give you the under 150 in my account, and now walk up Madison this time.
Oh man, that is definitely like Green Acre, or just a fish out of water.
Welcome to New
but
York.
He learned.
Sure. Sure.
Straight out of hee-haw. But you're Mrs. Farley, you were such a good, solid person over there. I think he learned a lot, and very polite to everyone. He was very sweet to everyone, and he got that from home. And he had his things, but down deep, he was very good boy, and everyone was really gravitated.
Yeah, well, he knew how to test me. That's for sure. I could see through that. I could see
like
that.
5 or 6-year-old Chris. What would he do? Would he easily? Would he like go take a time out, or would he?
Oh,
no?
that was a vacation for him, a time out.
Okay.
Oh, sure. That wasn't any. And then when I'd get these calls from Edgewood School where he was, they said, Mrs. Farley, Christopher's been naughty on the bus again. I said, oh, that's bad. And what did he do? Well, they explained. And I said, oh, dear. He said, yes, he'll be not able to ride the bus for a week. And I said, who are you punishing here? Me? I had to drive half across town every day because of his
antics.
Shenanigans. Shenanigans.
I like how we keep it vague. He was doing some crazy things on the bus.
On the bus, right.
But he got into Marquette University, right? I mean, so he
did.
got his school work together.
Fair and square. He could do it if he wanted. He could do it. He wasn't any dummy.
He could work people. Yeah, you're right.
He did.
He would go up to the host and go, are you in AA? I am too. And I go, Chris, how many times do you have to find some common ground so you can go have dinner with Sharon Stone? He's like, I know. He just I have problems, do you?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Oh, boy. He said, Mom, you don't understand me. You really don't understand me. I said, yes, I do, Chris. Yes, I do. Oh, yeah. His mother wasn't born yesterday, I guess. But we had good times, though. Good times.
Good time.
It was, it was, his youth was fun. It really was fun.
Oh, totally. Oh,
Yeah,
that
it was
Usually
fun
big
time.
big families. You guys would play games
Yep.
and run around. If it was a snowy day, I'm sure you would barrel with laughter at times.
Oh,
and,
I'd turn the furniture upside down and put sheets all over it.
Yeah.
And, we
we did all that. Yeah, the forts.
The fort. Yeah.
And was there a movie like, Tom, do you remember, were there movies like we had Jason the Argonauts and certain movies that would come on television? We'd all gather around. Wizard of Oz.
Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Wizard of Oz.
Oh,
was
yes.
big. Yeah. So there was.
He was scared
Chris was
easily,
informed.
I think, though.
Yeah, but
I was.
He was. He.
Well, the Wicked Witch was one of the most terrifying characters.
I think they watched it 10 times over.
But I was the bedwetter.
So we don't go.
I was the bedwetter too.
Yeah.
My older brother, my parents got a machine in the catalog, and they put the plastic sheet on. He was on the upper bunk, and it had a little machine. So then, when his urine would hit the sheet,
I had that.
I know, but he wet the bed so hard, he ruined the machine.
hard.
He broke it the first. Well, he went so much, he would sleepwalk, open the refrigerator door, and go pee in the refrigerator. So Tom, I mean, I wet the bed too, and sometimes I'd wake up, realize I wet it, and then I would just get to the side of it and go back to sleep. Yeah.
I'd go to the bathroom.
Lord above.
Get a towel, put that down. I had a lot of strategies.
So it just meant we were deep sleepers. That's all.
Oh, is that what it was? Oh,
Yeah,
we were just sleeping very
We
deep.
cut off all liquids. No liquids after 6 o'clock, and that didn't work.
That didn't work.
No.
Yeah. No, I might.
Well,
you might have had
we didn't wet the bed unless
in college.
In college.
For other reasons.
Oh, in college for other reasons. He became a bedwetter later. Yeah, some of us do it earlier.
Later in life.
Either way, there's a lot of bedwetting
I think
going on in the
sometimes
Farley
it's just
family.
too tired to wake up.
New mattresses.
A lot of new mattresses in the Farley household.
You know, Mama Farley, when he lived at the Bromley. Dana, is that where you lived? The Bromley?
Yes, the Bromley,
So,
84th. And Chris
84th.
moved in there, and Broadway.
And I think Myers lived there too, and maybe Dennis. But
it was a
he
very
goes,
nice
I
place.
live with main cast members in my building. Where do you live? What kind of shithole do you live?
He's
I go,
always challenging.
yeah, he's always fucking fighting me about something, but it's always just like for fun. But I go, I know. And he goes, you got to come check it out. So I go over there, and I notice there's no shower curtain.
Oh.
So the bathroom's soaking wet. And he goes, I go, you don't have a shower curtain? He goes, who needs that? Are you a girl? I go, well,
man.
I mean, I get that it's a hassle to go buy one. He goes, yeah, you want to go buy one for me? I go, no. And he goes, then there's no shower curtain. I go, he goes,
unless you buy it.
Yeah, I don't know what he's talking about. So he just has water everywhere. Bit of a slob. That's all.
Those little things.
Just a titch.
Yeah. Oh my God. But it was enough for like, because that was so the opposite of me. And I'm like, and we had to share a bedroom. I'm like,
you're like the Felix and Oscar.
No, totally. And finally, I just said, that's enough. Like that, finding out, like, we had to like find like another room in the house.
And he went behind the furnace. That was scary, right?
What
we were told.
That was,
great, grand, wonderful.
Neatest guy in the world. No. But Tom is. So that must have been not good.
I mean, yeah.
It was, we had all the boys downstairs.
I always describe. I spent my whole life trying to like live up to expectations, toe the line, and I look behind me, and this guy is like not only just tripping and falling over the line, but like making friends everywhere. And I'm like, I never got that. I didn't
he's failing upward. Every time he does something wrong, he gets more famous. And you're like, wait, what's going on?
I'm dressing right. I'm studying. I'm neat. And then he's just the opposite and have 10 times more friends. Everyone loves him.
You know, he had that green coat, I think, and he'd go to church, and he'd always go to church, though. He'd always get that tie on. I don't care if he's coming straight from the club. You're going to church. And he would just put the tie and tight. Everything was tight. Pull it really tight. And he put an overcoat and a sweater and a tie. I go, God damn, how do you get so many layers you can't move? I like to feel hugged. And then he would go.
Man.
And then he'd go to church and come back. I mean, he did look sharp, though. He'd doll up. You taught him that. He would doll up for dinners.
Been layering.
The worst thing.
I know. He looked like layered Hamilton.
Yeah, he's
the worst.
He would always layer.
That ever happened. Like last year when I sent you the Tommy Boy jacket, David.
Yes.
Like the worst thing I ever did. So I had Chris's Tommy Boy jacket and it was sitting in storage. I'm like, you know what? This is it's just sitting in storage. This is David's movie too. So I like sent it
Very
out.
sweet. Yes.
Sent it to my son Tommy to walk it over. But before I did that, I'm like, it was hanging in on my door. I'm like, huh. And I took it off and put it on, and I was like, damn it. It was like it didn't fit. I'm like, and now I'm the big guy.
In the little coat?
Like, that was really hard on me.
Yeah.
That must have been a difficult
You know
moment.
what's funny? I told Dana that. I said, Chris during Tommy Boy, because I have that jacket, and I really appreciate it because it's up on the wall here in the podcast room. It's just like the coolest thing in the world to have the actual jacket from Tommy Boy. And he... he was not that huge in Tommy Boy. I mean,
Right.
I was pretty teensy or thinner.
Big shoulders.
Petite.
Yeah, he had big shoulders, but even he couldn't fit. I mean, I think it was gaining more toward the end, like he gained more weight. But back then, he was sort of known as huge and fat or whatever. But he wasn't really. He was just kind of bigger. And of course, the word agile we've heard on everyone we've interviewed. Yeah. He's very athletic, very. Yeah, you knew that.
Yeah,
all I had to look was his arms were massive. He was just so muscular, like huge, big muscular arms. Like
he goes this, he goes like this. You like that? He bites his lip, and you go.
Did he lift weights, or was it natural? I mean, where did he get all those muscles from? It was from rugby, or
Yeah, he was born with big shoulders.
Always lifting weights too. Okay. Yeah, he was a big weightlifter.
Was he a wrestler?
Oh, okay.
Like that?
Football,
we lifted weights a few times together at the Bromley. He came over and there was a weight room there. Yeah, he could bench a hell of a lot of weight.
Really?
Hey, lady. Hey, it's the lady.
Yeah. Put 250s on and
ooh.
He was just organically strong.
Yeah.
David and I are more miniature that way.
I don't know if I love the word miniature.
Well, I was 138 when I was made Wayne's World 1.
Whoa, I think I was 138 on SNL. Yeah, 135 Club.
Stop.
Speed, boys.
What?
Well, I'm almost as much as you.
Well, we're tiny people. He doesn't like.
No, you look tougher than me. You're fast. You can move on your feet. You can swing.
With a wooden spoon in her hand. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Would you whack them with a wooden spoon, your kids?
Oh, I went through more wooden spoons and it wasn't cooking.
Yeah.
Was it out of the blue, Tom? And you just hear whack? What I do, or we just?
No, we knew. No, we knew
it was coming.
Yeah. I would run to the drawer and open the drawer, and they go, "We didn't do it. Sorry, Mom.
No, we did nothing.
Nothing." And I raised the spoon.
So you were the authoritarian in a way. I mean, you were not afraid to get those kids in line.
No, I was not afraid. No.
Yeah.
No.
Dad was just the voice. He would
Christopher.
He would send you, like, he would stop your blood from just by yelling.
The voice,
right?
Was enough to like.
He was very respectful of the dad.
Oh yes,
he was very.
Yeah, Chris was
were
not
very close. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was all new to us, all the SNL and the.
It's the strangest U-turn.
No idea.
Yeah,
of that
it's such a strange, bizarre thing to happen to your son.
Well,
be on TV all of a sudden, isn't it? I mean, or your brother. It's crazy.
Yeah. My father, when I brought him out from after my mother and brother died, I brought Dad over here to Madison, and that was in 95 or 93, and Chris had been on Saturday Night Live, I think, since 91, a couple of years,
something like
90,
that.
But
nobody had showed the show to him in his nursing home in Boston. So we were out here, and I said, "Dad, Christopher's on television." I said, "Let's watch a rerun here." It was during the day, and he looked, and he kept looking at the screen. He said, "Is that Chris?" I said, "What's he doing up there? What's he doing up there?" I said, "Well, he's on a show, Dad, on television." Chump. He's a chump.
Chump?
Well, he said that all because Chris was always being Chris, and my grandfather, my Boston Irish grandfather, would always like, "You're gonna be a bum.
Yes.
Quit doing that. You're gonna chump.
You gotta get a real job.
You gotta get a job. You gotta get an education." Chris would laugh hysterically. He loved that. He loved it when Poppy would call him a chumper.
Yeah.
Chump.
I think he said that when he would even have movies he would read, And his dad, your husband Tom, was not in showbiz. He's just a normal guy. And he goes, Dad, what do you think about this one? He goes, sounds like horse shit. like he'd say, you're gonna jump around like a clown in this one. He's like, yeah. And then he'd call Gervins and go, I don't think I want to do this one. He's like, what you're already doing it. He goes, no, my dad didn't like it.
I know, but that was a good one with Poppy. He never he couldn't understand that one.
Did he live long enough to understand how wealthy Chris became? Because that's a different thing when the Benjamins.
They couldn't get that.
Yeah.
They can't believe you're getting paid for this stuff. That's what they can't believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Like they pay you to do this?
We never mentioned it.
I always that was always my thing. It was like I would see like these skits that I've been seeing him do, like Chippendales. He's been doing that since grade school. In front of people.
Really?
I'm like,
dancing like that? Yeah, with a shirt off.
That, yeah. Just,
Breaking out.
Like, we'd at, in college, we'd be at a bar and the band would go, all right, we're going to take 15 minutes break. And they'd go and pipe music in and we'd look back and Chris would be the only one on the dance floor doing this,
doing his stuff.
Now he's with Patrick Swayze.
He
kept his pants up.
He kept his pants up.
Yeah.
He did like taking his clothes off for some reason.
Oh, I know.
Would he take his diaper off as a toddler?
Yes,
Oh, he just always taking his clothes off.
Yeah. I find those all over the house. Yep.
So funny. All right. Well, is there anything else you guys want to say?
Can you call me Marianne?
Okay, not Mama
Well,
I feel so old.
I took David's cue, Mrs. Farley, but I wanted to call you Marianne.
That's a boy. You
Marianne,
too, David.
Of course, Marianne.
Well, you're talking to a fellow cast member here.
Oh yeah, she was on the Mother's Day
special. Yeah. What was the sketch that you did with Chris? Yeah. Did you do a little dance or a little?
Did you have to do an introduction or something?
Oh, that was
Yes.
But I was always, when I was watching that from my side, I was like, everyone was like, oh, Chris, Saturday Night Live. Then you see like Mom and Chris, and you see it was so distinct, like where that comfort on stage and poise, like Mom was just like here, came out from Madison, Wisconsin, and like put her on stage at SNL, and like, no, this is.
I had butterflies.
Well,
I really had butterflies.
Yeah, you got. Plus, you're very funny.
Until the luncheon with Trump, that was a good one. Remember that?
Was that what happened?
Yeah, he was at our luncheon.
Oh, how funny! I don't remember that.
Yeah,
Donald Trump.
Yeah, I got pictures upstairs of like all the mothers, all the mothers.
It's going to be huge. We're going to have crab cakes. Go ahead.
We're going to do terrific. Let me tell you, Marianne, they don't make them like you anymore, and we're going to be coming there very soon.
Exactly.
You're wonderful, Tom. A great older brother. I want to tell you that right now.
Oh, you're perfect, Dana. You are perfect. Yeah, he went around to all the mothers.
Let me get your number, just in case.
Somebody asked him who his hairdresser was. That was good.
Oh, good. He said it's a weed whacker.
It's a secret. It's a secret. Yeah.
My mom, Dana, on that one, first of all, she loves Marianne, but I
love her.
My mom was so excited. I think she was sick the whole week because she goes, I wasn't going to let that stop me. And she goes, she broke out in hives on the way home. They had to get an ambulance when she got home. She was covered in hives. She was so either nervous or excited. Anyway.
From the Mother's Day special?
Yeah.
Oh,
so they sat her next to me. And they had to,
that.
Yeah, remember she got worse when she left.
Oh, yeah.
So she's such a trooper. Her joke was, she sits with me and she goes, I'm Davey Spade's mom. And I got divorced from his dad when he was 4 years old. And a lot of kids grow up thinking when their parents get divorced, it's their fault. In this case, it was his fault.
That's a nice joke.
Isn't that funny?
Man.
That's a good joke.
We had the best time, and I remember your darling mother too, Dana. She was
Billy D.
Sweetheart.
Yes.
Billy, yes.
Yeah, she was such a sweet woman.
Beautiful lady.
You get along with everyone, though, I bet, Marianne.
That was genius, bringing those ladies together. I don't know where
I don't know why they don't do it anymore. It was so smart.
I was surprised when I first heard it, Mother's Day special, because I thought, we're Saturday Night Live, we're rebels and pirates, but then it ended up being one of the greatest segments on the show.
So
we all clicked.
And stayed in touch ever since.
Yeah. Chris Rock's mom was there. I remember there's a lot of moms.
Yep.
Myers.
To have some
I remember one time when we were practicing, we
Practice.
were all jammed in an elevator, and we had to go up to the second floor for some reason and wait, and then come back down and rush out of the elevator. Well, we had to do that over and over, and it was 1 o'clock in the morning. And about the sixth time, we were going up to the second floor again, and I said to the girls, it was my fault. I said, girls, we're not getting back on that elevator. That elevator's going down without us. And it did. And it went down and the doors opened. No mothers.
They panicked. Where are the mothers?
Where are the mothers? And we all laughed our heads off. We thought that was the greatest coup. Enough is enough, right?
So you had a little bit of rebel in you as well. The apple didn't fall too far from the tree.
She's hysterical.
Where it comes from, absolutely.
Yeah. Of course.
Well,
yeah, that's great.
I was
that's
a
funny.
saint. Now, come on. I went to the Sacred Heart Convent, and I was a child of Mary. I was a very sweet, wonderful girl.
That's the impression I'm getting.
Thank you, Dana.
I'm coming to Wisconsin. I'm going to book a date. David and I are going to come in there, and we're just going to hang out with you.
Good.
What's the closest town with an airport that could take private jets?
Madison. My town.
Oh, Madison.
Town. Yeah.
I'm going to be there on tour coming up in January, so I'll have you come down.
Come with him, Dana.
Oh, Dana.
We'll see. I should jump on one of these, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I'd love it.
I've done stand-up a time or two. We're going to
can't
go
follow
together.
Dana.
We're going to do terrific things. Let me tell you. And as Joe Biden would say, come on, folks, we got to do this.
You got to do
says
this.
to people, my father lost his job. No joke. I'm not kidding around here. Sorry, I was just doing a little Biden.
Oh, you're good. You're really good.
We're all good, and we just thank you for the
and
wonderful
you look
sun that
wonderful,
you gave.
Too.
Yeah,
thank you. I worked on my lighting for 6 hours. But such a pleasure to meet you both on this interview and share your thoughts with the great Chris Farley. And you're just lovely people, and you're Midwest. I don't know. I kind of fall in love with you during this. Both of you. But anyway, God bless. And,
I love this show. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
This will be on.
Fly on the Wall, and David and I are doing this together, and we love interviewing our friends. And
it's really working. It's great. I love it.
It's going to get up to Madison
Thanks,
soon.
Tom.
Please do. You're welcome, welcome. The door is always open for you.
I'm going to come by and visit. All right. Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Bye, you guys. Enjoy
it.
Good to see
Love
you.
you.
Bye.
She is funny, Dana. She's so hilarious.
Next up is Rob Lowe, who was in the great movie Tommy Boy with David and Chris, and he has some very funny and interesting stories. Rob Lowe is like water.
You know, the thing about water, don't ever underestimate the value of water.
Oh my God.
By the way,
that's the quickest Lorne we've ever had.
That's an actual quote. I did not make that up. That's not
do not ever underestimate the value of me telling you the value of water. That was the extension. That was your 4. It was a 6 degree.
Rob, have you ever thought, what did he say, Dana? When he left, he goes, you know, Steve said, when you retire, where are you going? And I said, I'm going up, you know, whatever. He had some place. And he goes, will there be funny people there? And he goes, I never thought of that. I'm around funny people every day of my life, which is true.
Yeah.
And he goes, what if I wasn't at some point? And I go, God, that hit me too. I go, fuck, that's true. Everyone I know is good. Look, we're talking to Rob Lowe, funny. Just talked to Sandler, funny. Everyone we turn, everyone's funny. And then you go, oh.
That happened. That happened when we were casting Wayne's World 1. Do you remember that? Inflation adjusted $400 million global movie. But anyway, but I remember inflation adjusted is big, Rob. Don't tell me you don't go back and go, that was a fucking hit. But I remember we're talking about that character that Rob did so brilliantly in the show. And Lauren said, Rob Lowe's available, you know. And Mike and I looked at each other and said, hell yeah. So anyway, the rest is history. The great Rob
The rest
Lowe,
is history.
Is joining us as we celebrate our friend Chris Farley. And here we are. And how are you, Rob? How's your day? I know you're working right now, right?
I am. I'm shooting season 4 of
Firetown
Lone Star.
Damn, it's already season 4.
Season 4, and we're on in end of January. We begin on the air, and I'm on the set. I'm in my trailer. I told everybody on the set, walk away because I'm doing something important.
You are.
I am going to talk to my 2 buddies about my 3rd buddy. That's what we're doing. That's what we're here for.
Well, Rob, you can open with a story about him, or we can just talk about it, whatever you want to do.
We can talk about your interaction. Where did you first meet him, and what were your thoughts?
I remember there's certain people you vividly remember the first time you meet them. No disrespect to either of you, and I love you and you're legendary figures. I don't remember the first time I met you. I do remember the first time I met Farley. It was at Lorne's wedding to Alice.
Whoa.
And I was headed out to the porta potty, and there was this large person sweating buckets stuffed into a madras. We know what madras is, right? Yeah. Madras is a particular pattern,
colorful
sport coat, and pacing up and down. And I just like, wow, I better see if Lorne has security, because this person can't be invited. I've come to find out that was Chris Farley. So we had no interaction, but he made such a visual impact on me. And then the next time I met him, he was doing a bit in, was it Wayne's World 1 or 2, Dana?
2, I think.
God, wasn't he in both of them?
I think he was in both. He was like yes, it was first. He was backstage at Alice Cooper. That's what it was.
Backstage.
And I was like, hey, you're the porta potty guy from Lorne's wedding. Great. You're doing a little thing in the movie. Good for you. And then, of course, Farley became a very big star. And Lorne and I were playing tennis with the late, great Bernie Brillstein. And Lorne said, there's a new idea for a movie. It's you and Farley as brothers.
Oh, right. And
I went, that's super funny. And then I didn't hear anything about it for months and months and months. And then Lorne's like, so the movie is coming together, and we want to talk to you about it. And now it was, they realized that Spade is way more funny than me. So Spade was the second banana, but I still was the brother in Tommy Boy, as you know. And then then we had great stories. I have great stories of shooting with you, Spade, and with Farley. Do you remember that? Were you there the day we went to the steakhouse together? Do you remember that dinner at all?
Barbarians.
Yes.
Yeah.
Barbarians.
Just in Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto. So, Farley loved to eat, loved his steak. And so I remember he ordered two full porterhouse steaks. So porterhouse is a New York steak and a filet on the bone. He ordered 2 of them. Okay. And then this was like an old school steakhouse, like really super old school with the vinyl leather red booths. And they serve you butter that's in these like squares that you have to peel off
paper on top.
Yeah. The paper on top squares, right?
Yeah.
He put a square of butter on top of every bite.
And the bites were generous.
How many pounds of meat are we talking about, approximately, between the 2 porterhouses? So you took, are they 16-ounce cuts?
Oh, at least 8. I'm sure they're 18 ounces.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Maybe,
And so a square on not every steak, every bite.
Every bite.
And I was so horrified. And I remember looking over at Spade, and Spade just gave me that look like, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? And I said, Chris, what is happening? And I'll never forget it. He held up his fork, steak on the fork, butter square on top of the steak. And he goes, it needs a hat.
And he stuffs it down his gullet.
And did it kind of look like a little hat on this? He was right?
It was a hat.
It was a little butter hat. Yeah.
It was a butter hat.
That's very Chris. Yeah.
Rob was there for the great tuna sandwich debacle. Actually, you were the reason. That's right. You were the reason.
Okay. What's the tuna sandwich? I'll play along. Tuna sandwich debacle.
Oh, Dana, you're not going to pull that out of me. What happened
I'm intrigued by the title. I'm begging you, Spade.
Well, I think we've talked about it with Rob before, but we were always on edge. We were flying back and forth from SNL, and every 2 days, doing read through on SNL, then we fly after read through, and then we'd shoot for Rob. Unfortunately, was sort of had to deal with this schedule with us because we were going back and forth. So he'd maybe do a scene with Bo Derek, and then we'd come in and do a scene with him, and then we were getting short on patience with each other, just with everything, just stressful, and then he felt sick. The short version is he felt sick, and he goes, I don't feel good, and we got to shoot in the morning. I'm just going to go right to sleep. And so I got in, and Rob was there, and I think we talked and said, let's grab a beer or something. We went just to the Four Seasons, just to the bar. One drink and went in like we got to shoot at 5 a.m. or whatever. So it was absolutely nothing. And the next day he's glaring at me in the mirror in makeup. You can bank off the mirror and see the other guy. And I'm like, hey, everybody. And he's just staring at me and he's biting his lip. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. He does that, Dana, like you're in trouble. And he goes, how's Rob Lowe? How's Rob Lowe? I go, what's going on? And he goes, how's Rob Lowe? I go, where's Rob Lowe? I don't know. Is he in today? And then everyone sort of like backs off because it's like going to be a fight. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And he goes, we find out as he was mad that Rob Lowe and I went on a date basically without him, and we didn't call him. And I said, but you said you were sick. You said, don't call me because I'm going to bed. And he goes, you fucking call me when you have a beer with Rob Lowe. You run it by me. And I go, what? And so then
you run it by me.
Yeah. Let me say no. I'll say no. And I go, okay. And then we're on the set and he keeps staring at me and I'm freezing, waiting to enter with Rob Lowe, who's inside with, I think, Brian Dennehy and Bo Derek. And the scene, and I'm shaking because it's fucking 12 degrees, and I'm on the bottom of these stairs or whatever, and I'm biting this tuna sandwich, and he's staring at me, and he's so mad that I'm not fighting back. He just walks over and steps on my hand and my sandwich and crunches everything. I go, what the fuck? And then I threw my Diet Coke on him, and then he pushed me down the stairs, and then they go, action on the walkie, and we both freeze, and then we both just walk into the scene, and then I was the puss that cracked first because I'm just staring. But there's too much going in my head, like, what's going on? And then so I just go, and then Pete, the director, goes, line for Spade? And then I go, like, I know my lines. I just, like, I don't know what's going on. We're in the middle of a fight. So I left and went to my trailer. And then I think Rob or someone talked to Chris, and then he went to his trailer. It just a big mess on the set. I go, this set's going to be closed down. It was closed down for about 20 minutes. And then they're like, we got to call from Lauren, get the fuck back to the set and figure it out. We're like, ooh.
I remember it. I remember it like it was yesterday. I can see it. I can see him with those. He always wore those awful Red Wing boots. Remember? Always those god awful boots and
those tuna crunchers. I remember them.
Yeah, he crunched your tuna. I mean,
and my fingers.
So what was it like from your point of view, Rob, hearing about this? Like the stars are fighting.
I think David's leaving out a very salient point. This is what sent Chris over the edge. I think Chris probably would have been okay with us, just down in the bar catching up. But my recollection of it is we went to the hot tub. We went to the jacuzzi.
Oh, mistake.
We went to the jacuzzi, and the notion of you and I in a jacuzzi without him was too much for him to bear. Too much for him to bear. Yeah.
Oh yeah. The funny picture, the FOMO he was foaming with FOMO. He couldn't fucking deal. And I said, it wasn't even fun. I was trying to it was literally like an affair. And we got caught and I was trying to back my way out of it. And he's like, you're lying. And then later when he would talk about that, he goes,
did you touch him? Did you kiss him?
Where you wish Rob Lowe was on our flight. So that was for about a year of him mad.
He was proprietary about Rob.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And but I think he loved Rob being in the movie, and he did love, and he loved Bo, of course. And the movie really we got lucky. We got Farley 24 hours a day, which was a gift.
It was a gift. What's insane is, as you know, we all do lots of things and you never know what's going to stick. But Tommy Boy like when we were doing Wayne's World, we kind of knew that was a thing, and I mean, we didn't know it was going to be a big hit, but it was like whatever. But Tommy Boy was always this kind of. It wasn't a very Saturday Night Live-esque movie, really, because it had way more heart than that. But Tommy Boy has become, as you know, this just unbelievable part of people's lives. I was getting to know Jonah Hill recently, and Jonah, in all seriousness, not a bit, will tell you that it's his favorite movie of all time. Period.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hear things about Tommy Boy. Pete Siegel says he's a director. He goes, every job I've ever gotten is just all they have to see on the resume is Tommy Boy, and that's all. He goes, you got it. You can do it. If you can do that, you can do our comedy.
What do you think? I mean, it makes me want to watch it again. I remember it being just really a special movie, but man, really, I think I need to see it tonight. Something happened in that movie, the chemistry between the cast, and it really was. It set Chris up, right? Chris's all his strengths were on display.
Yes, it was like a coming out of introducing everyone that doesn't watch SNL to Chris, and backed up by Rob and me and Bo and Brian and everybody just sort of orbiting around him and just letting him do. But it was smart. They got hard in there, and they got the bagpipes, and there's just some things in there you don't see coming. And then it all works out. So I don't know what it was, but we got really lucky.
What do you think it is, Rob? What do you think the magic is?
I think it's because I asked Jonah that, and listen, Jonah's one of the smartest, funniest dudes around.
Crazy, great actor. I mean,
great actor,
unbelievable director now. Yeah, brilliant guy.
And so I asked him that. It's his favorite movie of all time. So like, what is it? And he says, for me, it's like that scene where Chris is alone, sort of praying in the sailboat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because I remember it making me cry in the theater. And, and listen, I love our Wayne's World and I love our Austin Powers movies, but they're making you cry.
Yeah.
And I think that was the special sauce.
Yeah. And Chris had that gear, that empathy, likability, whatever you want to call it, that you would take that ride with him effortlessly. But I remember that scene myself as being kind of like, whoa, this is unique for a comedy with so much great slapstick or physical comedy in it. Man with a little coat. I mean, was that did he rehearse it or did he surprise you with that?
Pete has a lot of stories, and I think we see it all from our own recollection, and some are different because they just are. I don't know. We never really know what's the real. But I remember certain things, and I remember doing that at work, and then in the movie, sometimes when there was flat spots, because it was a movie about brake pads, that there was room for like, hey, maybe we could spice up this brake pad speech and say housekeeping, or we could say, something else and Pete was very good about saying, try it. Like, I don't know. Or even sometimes Pete would say, especially I think with housekeeping, he's like, I don't really get it, but try it. If you guys think, and if it doesn't work, we take it out. And that was the big agreement. Like, let's just try stuff. And it doesn't work, take it out. And that's how a lot of movies have done it since, and maybe before that, but it's a great way to do it. Because if you have an extra couple minutes, throw every fucking thing against the wall while you're all lined up. You're all in makeup. You're all there. You'll never be there again. Try anything you can. And he did. We got so much out of Chris of just coming. Remember, he came to the door, Rob. I don't know if you were there that day. So I go, housekeeping. He comes up, and the big decision was he's in tighty whities with like garanimals on him or something. And the next one, he's just in a towel. And the next one, he drops towel. He's totally naked.
Right.
So we had to pick which is the funniest one. So we just do the same scene over and over. And then you go, it's so sad because they're all funny. 2 are going to get scrapped. No one will ever see them. I saw dailies years later, I think Pete had, and it was him swinging his dick around because when they go, they don't yell cut. He goes, oh, Richard, oh, hold me or whatever. Don't run from your feelings. And then I slam the door. And he turns to the camera and he swings his dick around. And he goes, hi, Sherry Lansing.
President of Paramount.
The president.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the president.
I'm like, Chrissy, what if she has to watch dailies, or she watches some, or someone's going, oh, it's so funny. Well, Robbie, thank you for talking to us. We all love Chris, and I know you did. And you're a big part of that memory, especially with Tommy Boy. I mean, that's the one thing. Believe me, I hear about it every day too.
People come up to me all the time and say, "Did you ever eat paint chips as a kid?"
That's a big one. Big one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them. These shoes are worth more than your life. There's a lot of good quotes.
By the way, what about? I mean, we're talking about Chris, but Rob's unsung laughs because Chris, you can't even get attention from him. But your shirt getting sucked off. When I saw the dailies, I go, "You're out of your fucking mind." Is that how did you do that? I couldn't believe that's not a trick. Didn't you just do it?
That's one of my proudest.
Unreal.
It's one of my proudest comic moments. It's so dumb. It's like this cool guy gets so humiliated and then tries to shrug it off. It was a really elaborate special effect, and that shirt really does get ripped off of me.
It's not CGI. It's nothing.
No.
And you're with Julie Warner, right?
That's right. I'm with Julie Warner trying to hit on her. I'm just this scuzzy, sleazy dirtbag. And I'm like, well, hey, I guess I'll catch you later, baby. And my shirt gets sucked up one of those pneumatic, those old school pneumatic mail tubes.
Where they go, shoomp, goes up. Yeah,
Does it come off the top of you? I don't really know.
It literally just goes, I have a button-down shirt in it. It's the button and then goes, it's a double whammy. That's what I think is funny about it. It goes, it's off me and then it's up the fucking tube. It's one of my favorite physical things I ever got to do.
Jonah Hill has good taste. Like, that is brilliant. Yeah.
All right, love you, boys. Talk to you soon.
Eric Newman was an assistant to Chris and I on the movie Tommy Boy. He is now a big producer on shows like Narcos.
I don't know. When did we met in 93, right? Or did I already?
We met in 91, I think.
91. So what years were you on SNL?
Well, I had been a PA on Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Oh. And so
okay.
But I wasn't, I was, there was a privileged group of PAs that were assigned to you. I kind of had Mike. So I was, getting him. And I would see, I remember actually, because it was so fun to think back on that time with this assignment, with Chris in mind. But I thought about Wayne's World. And I was thinking about, seeing you. It was always like you were putting on a show for the people around you. I was not one of them. would walk past and watch you, making everyone laugh when I was going to get a sandwich for Mike.
Damn.
Or something. Yeah,
I remember that. I remember that. I would make everyone laugh, and I'd see you walk by, and I'd go, what's up with Newman? But anyway, well, party on.
Party on, indeed.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I came to the show in the 93-94 season, and I think you had just left or were leaving.
Yeah, like in the spring or something, right before the McCartney episode where Chris did his.
Yes.
So when you write this, that piece.
Wait, Dana, you left during the season?
Yeah, we didn't have it. No one's playing instruments, singing. I'm not dancing with Lauren. You just kind of go out the back door. They go, good riddance.
Later.
Look, my choices around that time is for another podcast. Let's just say that I was a pretty naive young man, but so you got there and you're working on the show.
Yeah, I was Lauren's. I think Lauren's idea was because I wanted to make movies, and I didn't know then that TV would become what it became. I was like, well, I want to go, movies are where it's at, and I came to the show. I think his idea was I would get to know the cast, and then I would help him make his movies. And Lauren, as he does now, then he had tremendous power. He was the only producer for whom you could make a movie during the SNL season, and he would just kind of make it work. And I came out there and we were developing Tommy Boy at the time, and the plan was during the season we'd make that movie, and he was able to arrange a way where, and was brutal. And David, you'll remember our plane, our little jet we had. That was the shittiest private plane that.
I hate bad private jets. They're terrifying.
It was an
MRI with wings.
Yes, basically.
What was it? Was it a prop plane, or was it an actual little jet?
Was it a Lear 35 or something? Lear 55?
Yeah, or like a Cessna, like CJ
smaller
something. Yeah, but I mean,
CJ
this is
the
90s, and so I mean, this thing was like barely flight rated. We would get on it. Our schedule was basically.
Hey Newman, why don't we get on because it's so small? It's just me, probably me, you, and Chris.
Yep.
And he sort of had to keep an eye on us. And then I get on, the pilot would shake my hand, Newman gets on, and Chris gets on, and they go, "Uh-oh."
They would maybe have to him sit in the back or something like that. They're thinking about
balance. Yeah. They want to make sure the weight's all perfect. Go ahead.
Well, that was really my job. Lauren said to me, he's like, look after David and Chris, but really Chris. It was like, it wasn't really David.
Everyone has a Lauren.
Everyone does.
I
know.
Yours actually, that was really good because it was understated, but very real.
It's funny. Rob Lowe has a really good Lauren. By the way, you have a phenomenal Lauren, I know. But his Lauren's really good, and it's kind of what he chooses to say with it that's so good, because there are certain things that just sound like they'd be things Lauren would say, but that was really it's really about Chris. He's and at the time, and I not a lot of people remember this sort of period of Chris from like, I guess must have been 93 to 96 when we made these movies, David and Chris and me and the others. Chris was totally sober in this period.
That's what I thought, because he seems so great in Tommy Boy. I couldn't imagine he was using.
No,
he wasn't bloated in the face or like bleary,
and just on point.
We were together all the time. My job was to look after him. David was. I don't know if this has changed. I doubt it has. David is the only actor I've ever worked with, even since, who was looking to get out of scenes. Anytime David could say, "Hey, what if my guy's not in this scene? How about what if I'm?" And I remember, we would take this plane, and the schedule basically was, we would fly to Toronto on, from Teterboro Airport in New Jersey. We'd fly to Toronto, and we would shoot Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday morning, we would fly back for the read-through. We would do the read-through. Then we get back on the plane, fly up.
Flashbacks.
Shoot Thursday, Friday. And I think Friday night we would come back and join rehearsals, or, Chris and David would. I would just watch and then do the show. And then oftentimes I don't know why we would, rather than go back to our apartments and go to sleep on Sunday, we would fly back Saturday night after the show. And we did that for, we did it for, at least, 6 months.
Sometimes, Newman, I remember one time we did that. We had to fly back after the show. I think we just did, but Sunday morning we had a scene in Tommy Boy where Rob Lowe, we're inside an auto plant. It's Zelensky.
Yep.
And Rob Lowe gets hit in the balls. And but we only had that, I think, for Sunday.
For Sunday.
So I think we shot 24 hours. That was one night we broke some rules because we just kept shooting. And I'm like, are we going to keep going? And they went like Sunday from 7 a.m. Then they went to 7 p.m. Then it went, and I was like, oh boy.
That was the Aykroyd thing. That was because it was a functioning plant that we could only shoot on Sunday. Yeah, it was brutal, and it was fun. And at that, I was probably 22 years old, so I could.
Youth really helps in those situations.
It was,
because I'm getting tired just thinking about it.
It was brutal,
crazy.
And I thought, we had this plane, and it was, in those days you could smoke on the plane. So Chris smoked anywhere, and we would, play checkers. I don't know why. And checkers to me isn't even really a game. It's kind of like playing like coin toss. It's like,
it's like a time killer for children.
I guess there's not a 12 move ahead thing with checkers.
Not really. No. And there's no Bobby Fischer of checkers.
Yeah, right.
But for some reason, we would play. I never played with David because he was, he knew it was a waste of time. But Chris always
he was
wanted to
a
play.
chess champion, David.
And it was the old saying, I was playing chess and they were over there playing checkers.
Literally.
There we go.
And
David was plotting to get out of scenes while you guys are playing checkers.
I was highlighting the script going, they don't need me in this.
I don't need to have that entrance. Oh, go ahead.
I beat Chris like 10 times in a row. I mean, just literally is like, oh man. And, he started getting madder and madder. And then at one point he screamed at me. He's like, you never move your back row. And he tipped the checker table over.
God, I remember that.
He would get, and his, he was very aware of his sort of, how funny his temper was. So it would always kind of become a joke. But David, do you remember when David, again, trying to get out of work, or at least knowing when work was coming, David would ask me for a day out of days schedule.
Oh yeah, I love that.
And
day out of days.
Yeah, so day out of days is for those who don't know, it's a single piece of paper. It has sort of almost a graph on it that will tell you like when you're working. You can look at it. You can find the actor.
Monday through Friday.
Yeah,
you go,
here you are.
Spade works, Farley works.
Yeah, and and they're not that easy to read unless you know how to read them. But so David and I've got one, and David's got one, and Chris sees that like here's this thing that he doesn't have, and he tears mine out of my hand, and he says from now on anything David gets I get. And he looks at it, turns it sideways, can't figure it out, and then
upside down,
and then he pretends to fall asleep. He used to. I remember one night we were flying on the plane. It was for some reason, David, you weren't there. You'd successfully gotten out of whatever it was that we wanted you to do. And we're on the plane, and it's 3 a.m, and it's dark, and I'm asleep, or at least half asleep, my eyes closed, and the light turns on, and I can hear Chris trying not to laugh. So I'm like, oh, like I don't know what this is going to be, and I turn over, and Chris is laying stretched out on the chair next to me, totally nude, and he had taken off all his clothes, and he was waiting for me to notice him. But like, it was the most botched joke ever. But it's really really
one
funny.
checker over his dick.
He had done this.
It needs a hat
thing to me before we started Tommy Boy. There was, you guys have talked a lot about SNL on the show, obviously, and so people know that there's a dress rehearsal, and then there's a sort of an hour in between, and then there's the live show, and they're virtually the same show except things get cut based on time or performance. And Chris had gotten a sketch cut that he was excited about, and I remember I saw him outside of Lauren's office. On the 9th floor, the office that's just above I guess it's the 9th floor. And Chris was upset, and I was in the hallway with him alone, and he said, you know what, fuck this. Like, I'm done. Fuck this. And, the show was starting, and he walked down the hallway to the elevator, pressed the down button, and got into the elevator. And I got in with him because I was like, it was a little bit like my favorite year, like I had to follow,
Peter O'Toole
Chris around, and I couldn't. Yeah. Yes, Peter, exactly. And I couldn't, I didn't have a cell phone. But we get into the elevator, and at 30 Rock, they have all the monitors in the show. I can see that the show has started, and Chris and I are now going down the we're in the elevator. We've exited in the lobby, and I said, Chris, what are you doing? Like, you have like maybe, there's the monologue, and then like you're in the first sketch. And he's like, I'm gonna go to 8th Avenue and score. Like, I'm like, fuck this. We're gonna go to the Blarney Stone. I'm like, no, we're not. I can't. Like, this will be bad for you. It'll be really bad for me.
Chris will be fine. You'll get fired.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, and I don't know how, like, we passed the security guards downstairs. They're like, hey, why is Chris Farley in some type of costume walking out?
Dressed as a pilgrim.
And then, exactly. I think he was like a bumblebee or something. And then, and it was like, is this like part of the show? I'm like, no. I'm like, it's not part of the show. And I don't know how to call for help. And we get out onto 5th Avenue, and he hails a cab, and I'm like, I'm Chris, please don't do this. And he's like, no, fuck this. The cab pulls up, he opens the door, and I'm thinking, do I go with him? Do I run upstairs? I don't know, I wouldn't even know who to get to. And he opens the door, and then he's like, I'm just fucking with you, shuts it. And we get back in the elevator, go upstairs, and he goes out right in time to go on the sketch. And I had forgotten it. It was so traumatizing.
That was a practical joke.
Until, it was the meanest practical joke ever. But I think after that, because that was before even talking about, I think he was like, okay, I like this guy. Like he's, he went on the whole ride with me. And
you didn't lose it.
No, I didn't lose it.
So you're 22 years of age. I mean, the psychological jiu-jitsu that you're being asked to be knowledgeable about. I mean, I guess Lorne intuited that you had kind of a high social IQ or something, because that's
I mean, like a lot, I would say, like most of the people who have my job. Like, by the way, my daughter Sarah has my job now at Saturday Night Live of 30 years ago.
Oh, really? Hi, Sarah.
Yeah, hi, Sarah.
Is she out trying to score with one of the performers?
Is she watching? She watching Colin Jost or something?
Yes, basically. Yeah, she's. I think she's attached to the writers, which is probably safer than being attached to the talent. As I was.
You know, Dana. Whenever they said, "Where's Farley?" and they go, "He went down to 9th Avenue," everyone knew what that meant. There was a person's name that when they said, he's with that person, I go, oh boy, because everyone knew it was
the Blarney Stone, I think, or one of those Blarney Stone bars.
Go meet.
Yeah. But I think, I had been a family friend of Lorne, my dad and Lorne. My dad was the musical guest of the second show.
Your dad is
Randy Newman.
Yeah, so you're from that's what I didn't know if you wanted me to say, but you're from a famous family, so at least you have been around it enough to know something. So you're not just totally.
No, I wasn't like
a 22-year-old regular.
No, not regular. But I actually really appreciate. I guess appreciates throwing. Bad behavior is sort of entertaining to me. It always has been. When I would encounter it. And so when it happened,
it's a good attitude.
Yeah, I just never. I was never shocked by it. I did work very hard. Like I felt like I had sort of the advantage. I remember the first day of Wayne's World, and I was in college as the summer, it was a summer thing. I had to go meet Lorne at the parking gate at Paramount, where he had driven in. And he was driving one of those like new 500 Mercedes, the 2-door, the convertible that no one had yet. It's like
beep over here.
Like I'm here. I don't use a parking card. So I go out there and I stand. And the guard, is like, hey, you can't do that. I was like, trust me, like I can. I
have to.
I have to. And so, I use the card to let him in, and he's like, "What's going on?" Like give me, like basically like brief him. But I brief him while he continues driving at about 12 to 15 miles an hour. So I'm running alongside
and talking with Lorne,
telling Lorne like, "Well, today you have this, this." And I think he's like, I like this. This guy's, he'll do it. I'll send him in. And I think I was sort of a. You could kind of send me into the machine gun, I guess. And I think maybe he knew that. And so at SNL, it was a great, I know that I was telling my daughter that when you're there, even if it's a great year, everyone talks about how shitty the show is. If you're on the show, everyone was like, we were, we're not, and you don't realize you're part of.
It's not cool anymore.
No, and then you look back to see, it was you guys, and it was Rock, and it was, I think Rock had just left, but it was, Sandler, who I saw yesterday at Farm Shop. And it was Mike, and it was Phil's last year on the show. It was just this phenomenal, like golden era of the show. But when you're in it, it's always kind of,
I always thought that when I came back to guest host, I was just in a room hanging out with Farley, David, maybe Rock, and Sandler. And they were just so fucking funny. I just thought they were the funniest group of people and so talented and smart. So that's why they got the name the Bad Boys.
Yeah.
Right.
It was.
But then it was Saturday Night Dead.
Yes, there was that. I guess there was a review, and there had been a book had come out that had sort of but I went to see Lauren a couple of weeks ago because to visit my daughter, and it's unchanged, pretty much in terms of
really. Amber.
He figured it out. He's
tension
and never did a new theme, never did a new format. He was very smart about his brand. It's what
Newman,
they expect.
Do you remember, Dana, when the New York? Maybe you just left the New York Magazine.
Yeah, I remember that article
was embedded with us.
Yeah,
and then the guy rat fucked us and wrote a bad article, and everyone was on up on 17 going. That's when Farley and Sandler were like, "Let's go beat the fuck out of this guy." And there was definitely a long conversation about how to do that because Farley was Farley was leading the charge.
Sandler yelling.
I think it wasn't risk getting fired, but everyone was felt so betrayed.
I remember
it was
that.
a nasty article. Nasty.
That was that year because I remember that guy was around.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
And I'd never seen anybody let in like a Monday meeting or really on the inside. Everyone's kissing his ass, and then he's like, "These fucking dipshits," and we're like, "Oh boy, we just got welcomed to showbiz."
Do you remember, David? Do you remember when we saw Bon Jovi at the airport? Do you remember that?
Oh, it's the private airport.
It's great. So we have this, like I said, we have this shitty little plane,
jalopy,
and that barely hold duct
Volkswagen
tape. It's like
wings.
Literally, the pilot's like, "Hey guys, can one of you hold on to that panel while we land?" So
we have to duct tape the wings one more round.
And every once in a while we would get a different plane, but it was never a better plane. But one day we're on the way back to SNL from the way back to New York. And we're in that little private air terminal, and this beautiful plane is wheeled out like this. It's like a G4, brand new at the time.
Gulfstream.
And we're like, wow, like clearly, whoa, what did we?
Looked like our plane was like that plane had a baby.
Yes. Yeah. And so we think for a minute maybe that's our plane, and then they're like, no, that's not your plane. And out walks John Bon Jovi and the other Bon Jovi, the only other guy whose name I know, Richie
Sambora.
And that's their plane.
They're rock stars.
Yes. And they see Chris and David, and in the way that famous people always kind of know each other, like, oh, hey man, it's like,
what's up?
And right on cue, our plane comes out, and Bon Jovi looks at it and goes, "Is that your plane?" And they're like, "Yeah," kind of, like already braced for, the
sound effect.
And it's like that. And he's like, "Wow, you should come with us." And we're like, and at that point, we're kind of insulted, and Chris is like, no, we got, we're good, dude. And Bon Jovi goes, "Well, good luck," and gets on his plane and flies away. And a number of years later, I don't think David, I ever told you this. A number of years later, I had a meeting with Bon Jovi. His manager, I think it was Michael Rodenberg or somebody, said, "Hey, will you meet John? He's acting and he's not a bad actor at all." And I had this meeting with him, and I reminded him, I said, I met you at the airport with Farley and Spade. He's like. And he immediately was like, "You know what?" He goes, "I think about that sometimes because I think I came off sounding like a dick. And I seriously didn't mean to. The moment I got on the plane, I was like, why did I say that?" And I was like, wow, turns out great guy, it was,
or he even gave a shit, or
he
even
remembered.
Yeah.
It was probably an awkward joke because he probably was comedians who are famous are intimidating as well.
Yeah,
because they have X-ray vision, they're seeing the whole playing field. But God, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun. We used to go to what was the Barbarians? Chris always wanted to go to. And then,
by the way, Barbarians has come up about
I know, of course. It was
it's hysterical.
What was so great about it? I mean, just dark and
it was in proximity to a strip club.
Yeah, called the Brass Rail, which is
the
across
Brass
the street.
Rail.
But I also think that it must have been comforting. I think Chris came from that kind of place in terms where the steakhouse was the the
yuck bag.
Yeah, when the family would go out to dinner, on a special occasion, they would go to this red leather booth, steak place. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then we would always end up at the Brass Rail.
When we go to the Brass Rail, Dana, so we get per diem, right? So if people don't know, you get money to spend for food on a movie. Mm-hmm. So let's say we get $700 for the week, and then we're stuck on the movie so much. It's fun because it's free actual cash that no one can get their greedy mitts on. We just get to keep it. But you don't spend it that much because you're always on the set. Yeah. So we go to the brass rail and he goes, David, come with me. And I go, I don't want to go there again, dude. He goes, just 2 seconds. We'd walk in, he'd immediately take a VIP dance. So I just sit there for 45 minutes. And then he comes back and he goes, all right, I'm tapped out. Let's go. And then we'd go and I go, you spent all your per diem? He goes, David, if you don't spend it, you have to give it back. I go, I don't think that's how it works. Dude.
I have to give it back.
He goes, give me yours. I'll spend it for you. I go, no.
He had such a funny relationship with you, David. Where he'd say these little innocent things to you all the time.
I know. So
you guys fought. I don't know. I mean, remember when you guys had? Yeah, they were fighting during Tommy Boy.
Tommy Boy, and what was the fight basically about?
David, I mean, there was definitely a girl somewhere in there. I can't remember exactly what.
That was more black sheep, but yeah.
Black sheep. When did he step on your sandwich? That was Tommy Boy.
No, actually, there was a problem on Tommy Boy for that. But he stepped on my sandwich, the great tuna salad
he
sandwich.
Smashed it. Mark Gervitz called me and said, did Chris step on David's sandwich? And I said, yes.
And his fucking hand.
Yeah.
And that was really the problem. And then he threw me down the stairs. But
there was that too.
But you're light and you're scrappy.
But Dane, I didn't say this part. So Fred Wolf is one of the writers. He was on set writing a lot of jokes, and he comes in my thing, and Farley's so mad, and he doesn't know what to do because Fred's like, you can't beat up Spade. He's in the movie, and you can beat him up, but just don't because he knows you can. We all know you can, and you're that anger and he goes, I know, and he walks away, but he's so mad. Skippy walks by. And out the window, he full form shoulder tackles Skippy for absolutely no reason as hard as he can to the ground. Because Skippy was 350.
Yeah.
And he had to find someone his size. Yeah. That's all he heard in his head. So he just decks him and then gets up and walks away and lights a cigarette. And Skippy's on the ground going, oh, because he just had to get it out. And then it calmed down. We go, let's go back to the set. It was really weird to go back to the set after having a fight and going, this is just our life. We do this all the time.
What, Eric? What do you want to say?
I feel like he was incredibly agile. Like, he was a big guy, but man, like he could really ice skate. He was like incredibly athletic. And I could see him putting, all of his weight behind a shoulder like that and knocking a giant guy like Skippy down.
And while the guy's saying, hi, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah,
absolutely doesn't see it coming at all.
Maybe Chris knew something we didn't know.
Yeah, it was on the future. On the horizon. I think Skippy was getting me back for that.
We had I remember you and Chris and I were sitting in our chairs. I think I even got a chair at that point. I think it must have been far enough into the production where I had finagled my own chair. And we're sitting with Brian Dennehy, in between takes. It was at that house, that crazy house. And Dennehy was like reading a book or something, and he looks over at these three idiots sitting next to him, and he's like, "So, what are you guys up to for? What's next for you guys?" And we're all like, wow, "We don't know, no idea." He's like, "Oh, I'm doing the big one this fall," and we're like, "The big one?" He's like, "Salesman." And so David and I are like, "Oh, cool, salesman." And Chris goes, "What's salesman?" He says, "Death of a salesman." And then Chris goes, "What's death of a salesman?" He had no idea, but he did this thing. He did this thing with me. It started as like because I do think I felt Chris did believe that I was going to do things, and I think he had sort of said, you're gonna make it, which I appreciated. It was all you want to hear when you're a kid. And though I wasn't much younger than he was, but in terms of what he had already accomplished, like I was nowhere. And he had this thing he would do where he would pretend that
I like it already.
I had made it, and many years later, it's 10 years on or whatever, and his career had gone into the toilet. And so he was, running into me,
trying to get jobs,
trying to get work. And talking about things haven't been so good for me, and he went really deep with it. Like he would talk about a kid that he found out he had that he hadn't that he didn't know. It was
I need the money.
Yeah,
It's so funny. His big scenarios thing, he would go, Davey, I'm going to act like I'm a waiter and you act like you want this food, but we don't have it.
Yeah.
And then we would just do that in the office to kill time.
Yeah.
But you get the funniest things out of that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
so
best.
funny.
And he would cry. He would get himself at his own
Love it.
imagined predicament of how bad things had gotten for him. And then I remember he had done, he got paid on Cable Guy. There was that Cable Guy thing where remember he was
he got paid to not do it, right?
Paid to not do it. And then he got offered, this is during Black Sheep. Where he got offered Beverly Hills Ninja. Remember that? And he was got
remember
fortune.
$6 million.
We just talked to Carvey.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
Yeah.
And I remember, and I'm a fan of Brad's, but I remember saying don't do Beverly Hills Ninja. It's why? Why are you going to do that? I guess I was such a Lorne loyalist. I was anything that was outside of the Lorne.
There was a mess with Black Sheep, and then he could have done Cable Guy that summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then he went to Jim Carrey, but he was going to get a nice chunk, maybe 3 for Cable Guy, which was huge. And then here comes Carvey with 6. And we were all going, whoa.
Well, that was when it's funny. You just reminded me. That's what Gervitz screamed at me once. I had dinner with Gervitz the other night, and Gervitz screamed at me. He called me, and because I had said, I had sort of offered an opinion as to why that happened. It's remember Chris was pissed that Cable Guy had somehow gotten away from him, and he blamed Lorne, or he blamed
I think he had to do Black Sheep.
Yes, he had to do Black Sheep.
Yeah, two-picture.
And I said to him, I said, well, I basically said something which it was the last time I ever said, now I have so many friends who are representatives, and the worst thing you can do is get in between a client and their rep by saying, hey, your guy didn't read the contract or something. And I was, young, and I said that, and boy, Adam Bennett called me first, and, he was the soft touch. And he was like, you made a mistake, and, you got and then Gervitz
he was the jab, and here comes the right hook.
Blasted me really. It was. I still remember it.
What the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah, basically.
Hey, do me a favor, stay the fuck out of our business.
Basically. But
that was a big mess. But it was. I think Lorne wouldn't push, or Paramount wouldn't push Black Sheep an extra summer. But we have one summer to shoot something. Paramount
was rough. They were rough on studios are rough, but you remember
they were rough on Pete Siegel.
Oh yeah, but they were also rough. I remember there was a Wayne's World 2 thing. Remember, Dana, where they were going to sue Mike over some,
sort of Passport to Pimlico.
To Pimlico, exactly.
The beats were too lined up or something, so we had to get the script together very, very quickly, and we couldn't punt because we already had a tie-in with McDonald's. So it was the train left the station. And
that's such great movie biz.
It was fun.
Behind the scenes, it's unreal.
Yeah. Just for our audience, I just want to say, because people are listening to this, Eric Newman went on to become a huge movie producer and television producer, Narcos. I just think that's a nice context. And now
thank you.
His young daughter, Sarah, is at Saturday Night Live. So anyway, we should have you for an episode.
I would like, by the way, I don't know what more I'll come up with something.
You seem to be a fountain of stuff around that show.
Newman, it is so fun talking to you because it throws me exactly right back on the plane, and exactly how him turning that goddamn sheet upside down and going, you give me one of these fucking things, while he's smoking it's 3 feet of airspace.
Sweating and smoking. And
he turns it upside down and looks, he doesn't even understand it, and then he just fakes and falls asleep.
It was nice to think about him. I as we all did, I loved him. He was
so sweet.
He was amazing.
At his core, and he laughed so hard at your jokes, and he was so eager.
Yeah, he was a sweet guy.
And now we talked with Mike Myers, who knew Chris in Chicago, loved him, and he's got some really, really interesting and fun stories, actually, about the genius of Chris Farley. I want to thank Mike Myers for coming on today. Oh, sorry. Any thoughts about our great friend Chris Farley, one of the all-time funniest humans that walked around on our planet?
Oh, he's Chris Farley was a genius. Just one of the most naturally funny people I've ever met. big heart, kind person. Just somebody you couldn't stop watching. You know what I mean? He had that. He was must-see TV. Oh my God, how corny! But yes, you know what I mean. And
it's kind of true.
And
because you were in Second City with him, right? Or you were in Chicago when he was there?
I wasn't in Second City with him. I was waiting for my American immigration to kick in, and Del Close and Sharna Halpern were very, very gracious to allow me to work out while I was waiting for my Second City American immigration to kick in, because I was born in Canada. And there I improvised a lot with Farley, and he, he was obviously super talented. Sometimes it was very dangerous. Literally, people's teeth would get knocked out, and
because he would get so animated, it actually knocked someone's teeth out.
I got hit in the head a couple times. It was very different than the more kind of genteel comedy that I was used to in Canada, and certainly in England, where it's a little more verbal. Clever is a very important thing in British comedy, and less important, clever, like, oh my God, what a clever use of words. And in America, and I'm probably more funny. It's funny shouldn't be clever, fantastic. Right. You know what I mean? It's like kind of like what's happening right now in the world of clapter, where people will give you a round of applause for having said something politically clapter, as opposed to laughter.
Yes, fine choir, preach to choir, and then get clapter.
And I was raised with laughter. You know what I mean? Because something about being between America and England. Appreciate clever. Crave laughter, and Farley was pure laughter. And one of my strongest memories is, which is what I love working with you, Dana, when we made the movies, is that you're funny, and David, I've hung out with you, very, very funny, off for no other reason than we just enjoy having a sense of humor. You know what I mean? And
it's fun.
And there are comedians I've met who are not those people, and they look at you like we're not working now, clown, relax. And I'm like, I would be doing this if there was no money in it, dude. I like doing bits. Will Ferrell's like that. I have a 25-year-old running bit with Will Ferrell, and I had that with Farley. So every on Saturday Night Live, I used to have my dinner. Then I would, on Saturday, on the day of, then I'd have my shower at exactly 4:17 or something, and Farley would always come into my shower completely naked with his big giant body, and he'd press me against the wall and go, "Oh, Michael, I've always loved you. Just one kiss." And I'd beat him. I'd beat him by hard. I said, "Go, Farley, get the fuck out of here. Get out. And I couldn't hit him very hard because it was so funny. And every week I forgot.
Yeah.
You'd think you would remember that every week. But
he's coming
very,
in.
very intense at Saturday Night Live. Just go, okay, move that over here. That has to move over here. That's going to get cut. You know what I mean? And
where was the shower, Mike? I'm sorry.
Where
was the
shit on 9?
Communal bathroom, which is another thing that was super
on 9?
On the 9th floor. The studio's on
right.
the 8th floor. On the 9th floor, you have these little tiny, I don't know if it's still like that, but tiny cubbyhole dressing rooms.
Yeah.
And then right at the end of the hall are communal men, women bathrooms that had a communal shower. So I found out the time when nobody was there, and
it's like a hostel.
It was very much like a youth hostel, and I'd zip in. I had everything laid out so that my shower was literally like 11 seconds long, and every time Farley came in and pressed me,
Mike, don't run from your feelings.
Oh my. With total commitment. So he was stalking you. He was checking the time as well.
Yes.
Knowing, and he was ready for you. That's hysterical.
And I never remembered because, the shows, I think you had said it, Dana Best, which is being shot out of a can and flying to Tokyo once a week. You're so tired. And you go, I'm only going to ever do this show once in my life. I might as well give it my all. But what else would I do?
I think it was... I regret not taking a shower there. I should have done.
No, I don't know if I took a shower the whole time I was on SNL.
I was so tired. I needed something to wake up, and I'd come in and do rewrites.
Mike, I have a question about that, more of a statement. I thought, or as an old sketch you wrote.
It's a question with a statement wrapped in an indictment, but go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
You did one that was one of my favorites. I don't know if it gets enough fanfare. It might. Japanese game show. Right. And it was so funny already.
Very
you wrote
funny.
it. I think you wrote it. You're in it. Oh, you didn't? Seemed like you. Was it Handy maybe? No.
Oh, God. I can't think of his name right now. Super funny writer. He was a guest writer that week, and he wrote it and made us all learn Japanese.
Oh, it was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And then Farley is the added ingredient that was so great. He's, for people that don't see it, it's a purely Japanese game show. He comes in off the street. He thinks he's
he's taking a studio tour of Tokyo TV.
Yeah.
But in fact, he ends up as a contestant, and part of the show is to be electrocuted and humiliated. And
of course, and he's playing Wisconsin, like the perfect, like you talking Japanese to him, and then someone cut someone's finger off when they get the question wrong. He's like, "Oh, wait, I don't speak Japanese. I'm not from here."
With my wife.
I feel like I'm lost. I shouldn't be answering.
And then it would be,
and I don't know what you're saying. Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've talked about how Chris's explosive rhythm was always so potent. When he was in distress or being injured or anything where he was panicked, he had that. And it was very musical. I mean, since you saw him a little more up close maybe in Chicago than we did, but there was a high intellect, in a sense, comedic IQ that Chris had, that he knew what he was doing. He knew how funny those rhythms were. It reminded me of Kennison in a way. When he would scream. Kennison had the staccato, but Chris had his own sort of, whoa, you guys sort of were doing it a second ago. But yeah, it was very potent.
But he, it's kind of like he had the humility. It's the thing about English comedy. There's a little bit of, I'm smart as well. I'm not just silly. And Canada and the USA are freed from the need to prove to your audience that you have an intellect, but it's required. You have to be smart enough to do comedy. For God's sake,
sure. People forget that just if you're good, that means you're smart, because you are thinking 100%. Of the 18 ways you shouldn't do it. You're picking the one that works. So something's going on.
I've gotten a few reviews in my life that kind of ding me a little bit. Oh, he's just being silly.
Yes. Yeah,
as if pick anyone out of the crowd. Now go, just be silly. You know?
And
so because
I've seen your shows. You conduct that crowd, dude. Better than any other comedian I've ever seen. It's a perfectly timed and it's a full show. But yes, which when it looks easy, I think with Farley it looked easy, and I there's a lot of focus, a lot of commitment, but it does, but we don't need to know how it was made. It was just great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Mike, what you were saying about Second City, when he would commit, he would get on me, and I think other people, like, he wanted the exact same commitment. If he got a vibe that you weren't 100% in a sketch, he was really into it. So he was taught. He's like, you get up there and you give it 1,000, and you go to the crowd and you come in exploding into that scene. And so he had all these rules in his head, and he would do them all. And if he caught someone gold bricking, he'd be like, he'd get on your ass about, which I like.
That is the Second City training. And a lot of that is the late Del Close, who, I've been fortunate to, and did Chris. We had two big coaches in our life. One is Lorne Michaels, and the other one is Del Close. And one of the things I think we all kind of feel about Lorne is that he had a glossary of terms for that which didn't have a glossary of terms before. You know what I mean? And for sketch comedy, certainly there isn't a day I don't quote. And you do too, Dana. I've learned a lot from you. Definitely.
I can't believe that, but at this point, I think The student has become the teacher.
Now the pupil.
The student has become the older students. That's what I like.
But Lorne does have a lot of phrases and Lornisms, I call them.
Mike, what are your Lornisms? I haven't heard them all. Do you have any?
Well, the value of water is one that is a biggie for people have heard that. But I remember you telling me about that one.
Oh, I went to his house.
Never forget the value of water as he's pouring water from like 3 feet away from the. He was a great pour guy. He put that Amstel Light like 3 feet in the air and just like hit the glass.
I've never been to anybody's house that was totally stocked, you know.
Me neither.
And rows, you know? And he had like every kind of cheese, not just cheese. You know what I mean? And he said, "Well, you know, come over to the house." Then he was like, "There's your thing. I'll talk to you tomorrow." And I'm like, "Well, what do I do tonight?" Like, you know? And there's no TVs and anything, so I'm like,
"No,
okay." So I just like walked around Amagansett, you know. And then the next morning, he's coming. He just had a massage, right? He's wearing a robe.
I had all the same experiences.
And I was in the kitchen. I was by myself, and I was like, "Am I allowed to go into the fridge? I'm starving." He goes, "Have you eaten?" I said, "No." Is there? I said, "No, just help yourself." And then he pours himself water, and he goes, "Do you drink water?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "There's nothing like water." And so I hadn't spoken to any human being for 4 years. I said,
"Do you breathe? There's nothing like air. Do you breathe?"
I said, "Well, beer is like water in as much as both of them are liquids, right?" And he went, "Right." And then he went back with his drink. And so I had an Amstel Light, and I don't know. I found a pay booth in town, and I called my brother Paul and was like, "Oh my God." And then on day 3, I had my meeting with him.
Lorne saying right is one of the funny things that he always does sort of.
He should have been a game show host. And the answer is Toronto. Right. And the answer is he could have been.
The other
one
is with you know, with Rob Lowe, we have tried to get, when we have dinner with Lorne, is to try to get a right, really, and a cool. Did I tell you this the last time I was here?
No, that's great. Funny.
So, right is it's boring. Yeah. Really is something that is embarrassing, and he's going to tell the next person that comes in his room. And cool is now you have to leave. So it's right, really, cool, right?
And there's one more.
Play.
One more. I don't. Yeah, you want to go in threes, but exactly is when you're giving him information he may not have heard, and then he claims it. I guess so. You know exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I knew. I knew. So we're watching a hockey game once with this kid, and when you've got a power play in hockey, you can't see the clock to see how much more of your power play you have. But the goalie watches, and when there's 3 seconds to go, he whaps his stick on the ground 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And his son said, "Why is he whapping the stick?" And Lorne said, "Well, he's frustrated they haven't scored." Right? And I said, "Well, no, actually, it's telling them they have 3 seconds to go because they can't watch the clock." And he went, "I knew." And no, Lorne, if you had known, you would have said there was 3 seconds to go. So you didn't know, but I didn't. I said, "Well, you know, it's both, because I didn't want to embarrass him." Oh, the kid's all grown up now.
And Chris would always say to David, because they had such a unique relationship, talk about don't tell Lorne. He was always when he
don't tell Lorne.
Oh yeah, grabs you really. David, don't shh, no. But he loved Mike and Dana. Oh boy, he would like, fuck, they're fucking killing, dude. He just couldn't believe he even knew you guys when he came on.
Who, Chris?
Because it was overwhelming for all of us. Yeah,
yeah, super overwhelming.
Got there and it's just going, oh my God, because you guys were running the tables and
he was
just excited to be.
He was in Wayne's World 1 and 2. And cameos or whatever, and you know,
I have his yellow security shirt from Wayne's World 2. His brother just gave me.
Oh, really? That's so cool.
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
Yeah. I just got it 2 weeks ago. It's super cool.
I miss Chris. I think about him all the time, and you know, for me, there's a lot of Chris in Fat Bastard, of the sort of you know. My body's built for pleasure, you know, and he's just trying to channel that brilliance, you know what I mean? And he was always very, very nice to me. And I know this is going to sound super corny, but he was super, super nice to my mom. That always meant a lot to me.
Well, he had a Midwestern vibe about him, and that is sort of humility and politeness and humbleness. We got to talk to his mom and brother and got to know a little bit about his childhood. But the party started when Chris came in the room, and if you'd say the mildest joke, and he would sincerely just belly laugh so hard. And he shared one thing with you, Mike. He had more little superstitions about what he would touch. But I remember you had one that you wouldn't go in the main doors of 8H. You would just go.
Never went in the main doors.
Yeah.
I had to knock on the Canadian flagpole at 30 Rock.
Yes, Chris had a few of those things. I didn't know about the Canadian. Every time you came in, you went bump, 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 and then you came in the rock.
Then I had to look at the number 22 on the lighting grid. And when I hosted, they gave me that number off the lighting grid, and it's on my front door now.
Oh, cuckoo. Mike, on Tommy Boy, we were doing these, Black Sheep too. When we do, first of all, you guys know he's very religious.
Yes.
And so to combat his craziness, to scare him, before each take, he'd spread his legs kind of wide, and then he'd pull up a pant leg on each side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Before a take. And I go, and so I was getting so sick of it that one day I go, Chris, you're asking the devil to come out of hell. And he goes, no. And I go, no, the good thing about the devil is he has to be invited into your life, and you invite him. I don't invite him because I don't want the devil. And he goes, no, that's not what I'm doing. I go, you're knocking on the top of hell and pulling your leg and saying, come to me. And he goes, you shut the fuck up. Because he was so superstitious. And then it scared him. So he's like tentative about it. So funny. Kevin Nealon, one of the funniest guys out there, had some overlap with Chris on the show, and we all know Kevin, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, let me tell you something. There you are with the baseball cap and all dressed up.
Haben meine Soßen, aber natürlich der Schlüssel in der Barzana.
Is that real German? I know German.
Or Austrian, right? You lived in Austria for a year, right, Kevin?
I live with Hans over there. Wir haben eine Kanzel, aber der Schlüssel der passen.
Take your Schlabberstrassen and make sure your Wiekertuden is Tatelladen.
Auf den Sinn, dann am Grund des Vorstaaten, der dummen Dank.
Good God. I got one. Emil ist oben. Hast du Bruder? Nein, aber ich habe zwei Schwestern. Do you have any brothers? No, I have 3 sisters. You're like, well, it's not funny when I do it.
The first time I saw Chris Farley, I remember I was in the hallway at Studio 8H, and the elevator door opens up, and out comes Farley. And he could not have looked more excited. And he's taking those kind of Farley steps, and he's pulling his pants up like Hollywood, motivational speaker.
Yeah.
And he looks at Mr. Nealon, and he walks down the hall. He was like a kid in the candy store. I forget who was with him, maybe his brother or 2 of his brothers, John maybe. And then we just kind of got to know Chris. We got to see how funny he was and how he would do anything for a laugh. And it's almost like he always needed to have you laughing.
Yeah,
he didn't feel like he was enough just by himself. And I don't know where that came from, but I blame his parents. And
I blame you.
But wasn't he also an explosive laugher? Like
he was a great laugher.
Not even that funny. He was like, he's like,
yeah. He was good at that, and he's around all these funny people. I think he did it's always great when a comedian is also a laugher, because it's very disarming when someone laughs at your shit. It's more fun. Everything's fun.
Yeah, I just kind of nod because I don't want to give the other comedian confidence. Yeah.
The worst is when the worst is when a comedian laughs at his own jokes. That's kind of annoying. Because he's like a laugh track for you. He's letting you know where the laugh should be.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I noticed about Farley was when he laughed or he's excited, he'd jerk his head. He'd jerk his head quick to one side or the other, or his head would go in like a turtle,
Yeah.
His shoulders would go up.
Hunch up.
And but people loved him. They just loved, they could they could feel his joy and his excitement, I think, and they were there for the ride. And I know that you, Spade, and Sandler and stuff, you knew exactly how to egg him on.
Mm-hmm.
You could get him to do stuff, and have him turn on even higher volume.
Because he loved it. Yeah, he loved getting laughs.
But talking about the how he digressed in his being at Saturday Night Live, I remember he was in the hallway at Sandler's dressing room, and I was coming out, and he was kind of being really loud and stuff. And I said, Chris, take it down a notch. Take it down a notch. And we got into the discussion about Belushi, John Belushi, because, as we all know, he wanted to be just like John Belushi. He wanted to emulate him. And unfortunately, he did at the end, especially. But he said, well, Belushi did a lot of drugs and drank and stuff. And I said, yeah, but look at how much funnier he would have been without all that. And look at how much more alive he would be today. Really? Really? But I think things just didn't really, sit in his head that long. He didn't really retain a lot of stuff that were kind of good advice for him. But I've never laughed harder than at the Chippendales dancer sketch with Farley. I've never broken character on that show, but that was the one time I almost lost it. And I had to keep looking down at my clipboard because every time I looked up, that belly was sloshing back and forth like a pool on a boat.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd look down at my clipboard and I look up again and I see all the stretch marks going back and forth. And I just had to, I had to look down, and man, I was so relieved when it was over.
For the people at home, Kevin was one of the three judges? Was it you, Jan Hooks, maybe?
Yeah, it was like American Idol. We were sitting behind a long table, and it was me, Jan Hooks, and Mike Myers with a clipboard. And Farley was auditioning to be a Chippendale dancer with just the bow tie on, the cuffs, no shirt, and leather pants, auditioning against Patrick Swayze, who was,
rip fit,
total six packs,
perfect shape.
Yeah. And Farley gave it his all, and he was not going to walk away easily from his loss. And he kept dancing after he realized he wasn't in. And we finally had to say, no, I'm sorry, it's over. No.
Kevin, you're so funny in that because those sketches need someone like you when you go, Barney, it's over. Like you're so straight, and Chris is kind of give eyeballs at you, like flirt with you, like flirting with the judges.
How about this?
Yeah.
And
they're like,
you like this move?
No.
How about this move?
No, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
How was that?
But I heard in retrospect.
Go ahead.
I heard in retrospect that he was. No, correct me if I'm wrong. I heard this about a year ago that he was a little apprehensive about agreeing to do that sketch because he was self-conscious.
There's two camps in that, right? I think Bob Odenkirk has one thought on it, and Jim Downey did not think Chris was upset about it or felt humiliated by.
I never heard a word about it from Chris.
I wouldn't think he would be because, he just threw himself around. Like I said, he would do anything for a laugh.
Kevin, do you remember at read-through, did he get up and do that?
I don't think so.
Just so people know, we haven't mentioned this, but I don't know if you guys were there, but I don't know if it was a regular thing with Chris, but the writer's room on the 17th floor at 1 a.m., and there's these double doors, and it's where we have read-through, and he just burst through, and he was completely naked with kind of his legs crossed and giggling. That was just Chris. So that's why I didn't think he'd be embarrassed about the Chippendale sketch, because he knew he was moving in such a funny way and just crushing. So I would assume he was happy about that, but I never asked him.
Well, he's always naked. And he would always walk in a room and then just pull his shirt off and pull his pants down. You go, what are you doing? He goes, and Kevin, what about the move when he does something like that and you go, Lauren's really mad, and he goes, what? And then he changes his whole demeanor and his head goes back and he goes, no, David, please don't, no. When he does.
Really?
Yeah, really? No, really? Or how about a read-through, where he sat over there, where you walk in. And I didn't know about OCD because when you walk in, we had shared that office. And he'd walk in, he would flip the light on and off, and then when he left, he touched the ceiling twice or the top of the door jamb. And I always thought he was doing it to be funny. And And when he would go to read through, when his was coming up, he'd pull his wallet out and he'd be staring at the script and he'd just casually lick each corner of each dollar bill and put it back in his wallet. And we didn't know what OCD was. And on Tommy Boy, each take, he would lean over and pull up one side of his pant leg and then the other. And then, but he didn't he wasn't seeing if anyone was looking. He was doing it so, just by rote. That's all he did. And, we didn't know what OCD was. It wasn't anything back then. So I think that's what it was looking back.
Probably was.
I mean, Mike had a mild form of that. I mean, I was walking with Mike to go 8H through the double doors, and then all of a sudden he just bolts left and he goes, I don't go through the double doors. I don't know if that was for a particular season or whatever. Maybe it was more superstition than OCD.
One of the things that really stands out for me with Chris was how agile he was and light on his feet and coordinated. Like we would play basketball over at Riverside Park, and I was just astounded with how quick he was and just good with the fakes. And, we even saw that in the skating rink at 30 Rock when he was skating for one of those sketches, just how a good athlete he was, even though he was on the plus side.
Yeah.
He was such a great athlete.
Nancy Kerrigan sketch was funny.
Yeah.
That was even funnier because he was good. It's very surprising.
Right. Yeah.
Very athletic basketball.
I don't know if, I know he played rugby in college, I believe, and he was a lot lighter, but I wonder how disappointed he was at his body size, because he really was a thin person inside that heavy body.
Yeah.
Well, did he talk to you about this, David, where he didn't think he could be as funny if he got to more of a normal weight?
He was scared that it was less funny unless you were fatter, because I think when he got all the way to Saturday Night Live, to the top in quotes, as that and every sketch, they had a sketch called Whale Boy, at Second City, and that sounds a little rough, but if you're that big and you think then it goes away, something about it, you go, I can't lose it. But when he passed away, I still have his Tommy Boy jacket here. His family gave it to me, and it's on my wall, and it's not that big. I mean, he was not. I think when he passed away, he was honestly 100 pounds heavier than during Tommy Boy. He just
last time I saw him
really got big.
Oh, go ahead.
That was it. He just really got big, but he wasn't. He was bigger than me in Tommy Boy, but I was probably 135 pounds. So it was a funny juxtaposition there. But in real life, he wasn't some super fat,
I remember the last time I saw him, I was at Brillstein Gray Management Company. We both had the same managers. And it's a big floor up there. It's like the whole floor. And I was walking by one of the conference rooms, and I saw Farley. His back was kind of behind me or side. I think he was smoking a cigarette, and he had I think it was like a pink mohawk, or his hair was dyed pink, and he had a leather jacket on, and he was kind of sweating. And I didn't say anything to him because, I for some reason I didn't stop and say hi to him. But that was the last time I saw him.
God, it's hard. It's it's funny and it's sad. I don't remember. I don't think the last time I saw him. I was in Aspen. Remember the HBO Comedy Festival?
That's the last time I saw him. I sat next to him in that. It was a whole Saturday Night Live kind of reunion in Aspen.
Like a reunion, yeah.
Did you go to that one, Kevin? Or we were in bleachers?
I did. Yeah, I was there.
Lauren and Chevy
we went to a dinner. So I see him, and he comes over to go to a dinner, like let's say Steve Martin, Martin Short, Lauren. They're all having a big long table dinner. You guys might have been there. And they said, if you want to come down, we have 2 seats. And when Chris got to my room to pick me up, he was too fucked up. And I was like, oh, we can't go to this thing. But he goes, we got to go. And so we're walking down there, and all I'm thinking is, I hope it's like a cast party where everyone's just milling about and we can kind of blend in. But it was a sit-down long table dinner. And they had our seats toward the middle, so we had to scooch down by everyone, and we were going to be trapped. And I go, Chris, keep going. We scooted down. We kept going out the other side. And then I took him to the kitchen. I go, let's go in the alley. I go, we can't stay there. We're not having a 3-hour dinner with all, like, our boss and all these famous people we're going to get in trouble. So we went out, and then I went home, and he finds people that I wouldn't hang out with, and they're all like kind of sketchy. And he goes, I'm going to hang with these guys. Like, all right. So I went to lunch the next day, and he's in line for this lunch place, and he's with all these people, but they haven't gone to bed. So he's talking to me, and his eyes are sort of going back in his head, and he's trying to focus. And I go, did you go to bed yet? And he goes, not yet. And I go, oh. And then I think we got back to LA, and that was sort of the beginning of, he lived near me, but we didn't see each other that much because he was always with a group of those guys, and then it's not as fun for me because he's either wasted or I don't want to hang with these guys. They're all sketch. And then you just get the news one day and I'm like, oh my God, yeah. But I don't remember.
So you weren't very close to him. You weren't close to him near the end.
Well, I mean, the last couple months I ran into him and we had read this movie called The Tree. And that was going to be maybe our next movie. And then he did Ninja and something else. And I just happened to run into him. And he goes, hey, everyone just talks about Tommy Boy. We got to do another one. This is stupid. What are we doing? Because we weren't really fighting. We just were both doing our own thing. And he said, did you read The Tree? And I said, yeah, I think that might be a good one. And he goes, yeah. And then it never happened because it was just a few months later. So, but yeah, we were on, our terms were fine. It was just really the crowd he's with. I thought it would be a phase.
Yeah, I think a lot of people like to latch on to someone that popular like that. And Chris may not have been that astute to the ass kissing that was going on. And he was getting so much praise and attention from them. It felt good. I'm not a therapist, but that's my, my,
Well, when you walk down the street in New York assessment. And people like Nealon, Carvey, they're eating outside. And when they'd go, hey, Spade, have a drink. They're just sitting right next to you and you walk by, hey guys, if anyone said have a drink when we were walking together, he would stop and drink or he'd walk around and go sit. They go, hey, sit with us. And then he would. And they're like, oh my God, he's actually doing it. Oh, hey, scoot over. And then he would just drink. And I go, all right, I'm going to take off because it was just crazy fans that were slapping his back and, no cameras back then or that would have been insane. But just like grabbing him and he got drunk with everyone. And I go, So you could just see it. He got so famous and he was so fun. And I was lucky to hang out with him. And my friends are always like, oh, bring him. He's so fun. He would leave messages for my friends and their voicemails and they'd fucking dial out. It was great. So that's the tough part. If you don't, that's hard for all of us to get through, all the temptations.
Yeah.
Yeah. You become a wind-up doll. Let's get the famous comedian high. And then,
yeah,
Chris
they want to be the one
to be funny. And, so.
Also, Dana, when he's in rehab, I'm sorry, Kevin, but when he's in rehab, everyone still wants to get him wasted. He's in AA and no one gives a fuck. They want to be the ones that are with him when he got fucked up, even when he wasn't supposed to. There's something weird about that.
That's devious. Yes, Kevin?
Yeah.
I sometimes wonder what he would be doing now if he were still alive. Would he be like a huge movie star doing all these crazy films? And, what films would he have done instead of other people that, prospered from it? And, or would he be canceled? Would he be somewhere in another job or something?
Yeah.
Road less traveled. I don't know, but
yeah. Dana wonders how fat he'd be.
I weigh everybody. I think about celebrity net worth and actual weight.
In the days of my 1,000-pound sisters, Farley weighed about 250. It's like they're like, this guy was obese, and you're like, he really wasn't. I mean, I've seen we've made bigger since.
Carvey always checks out the celebrity net weight.
Yeah,
online.
It's right next to worth. You just put worth, and you go right back to weight, and then I go celebrity lean mass versus body fat percentage. That takes a little longer. I checked you guys earlier today, and I'll email you the results.
This has been a podcast presentation of Cadence 13. Please listen, then rate, review, and follow all episodes. Available now for free wherever you get your podcast. No joke, folks.
Fly on the Wall has been a presentation of Cadence 13, executive produced by Dana Carvey and David Spade, Chris Corcoran of Cadence 13, and Charlie Finan of Brillstein Entertainment.
The show's lead producer is Greg Holtzman with production and engineering support from Serena Regan and Chris Basil of Cadence 13.